Hello.
Hello.
What is up? I guess nothing's up with Jesse.
Yeah, nothing's up.
Welcome to another episode of the fucking Fast Life podcast. Sorry. Man, we've been asking for feedback and we've been getting it and we appreciate it. A lot of the feedback we got is stuff that is things that we are kind of already addressing, but you know, it's good to know that people are conscious of it as well as we are conscious of it. First off, our last podcast, we had a 20-minute intro. Some people probably lost interest and didn't even get to the deal. So we're going to try to keep this one manageable. Also, just me, just shutting the fuck up, you know, and letting you hear more from the guests, you know, is kind of like, it gets weird in these podcasts when you start getting in these conversations and you start forgetting there's a mic and there's a reason for this conversation. Sometimes it's just like you just start flowing with ideas and shit. And
it's not only that, it's just this is a skill set all on its own. Just trying to do this, like trying to record podcasts or anything like that. I mean, it's like fucking interviewing skills. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not like we've fucking interviewed people for a living before this. It's not like we did anything like this before this.
Yeah.
So it's just learning the right questions to ask at the right time, just to spark the interest in whoever we're speaking to, and maybe get them passionately talking about whatever we're trying to get into. You know what I mean? So regardless, you have to fill in the gaps. So
yeah. So like I said, I'm not necessarily trying to make an excuse for it, but basically, you know, we are aware that, you know, I kind of go off the deep end a lot of times and fill up a lot of space talking about my own personal beliefs and ideas. And, you know, we are aware of it. I am aware of it. So, you know, probably not this one or the next podcast, but future ones that we record will probably, you know, you'll see a big difference in.
Yeah, we'll be more conscious in how we approach them.
You know, the first podcast we released, we had a lot of people tell us that, you know, Scott from Simpson Helmets was very quiet, and then we were loud, and that has to do with the fact that he sat far away from the mic.
Yeah. And
we weren't. So those are things that we found out through doing this process.
So we started addressing these issues just like we're doing now. So we'll get it all figured out. Just hang tight.
And then, what was it? Drawing a blank.
Quit just telling everybody our problems.
Yeah. This is only, you know, I think in about 3 or 4 days, it'll officially be a month since we launched the first podcast. And it'll be episode 8. Roughly by the time we do launch this podcast or this next podcast.
Yeah, this is number 7.
This will be number 7. So, I mean, you know, in basically a month's time, we jammed out 8 podcasts from Houston, Texas, Austin, Texas, and up and down California and Phoenix. So it's kind of been I think we've been focusing so much on getting people on that we need to focus now on just like taking more time to research our guests and bring relevant conversation or questions to the table. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because a lot of these people I know personally, so we're just kind of shooting the shit and having conversations and rambling.
Yeah, like more researched questions.
Yeah. So, I mean, I understand for a lot of people that don't physically know the people we're talking to, they want to get to know them in the way that I kind of already do. So we're going to start trying to restructure it to give you that aspect. So yeah.
Yeah. So what about the lifeblood of this, though? You know, the sponsors.
Yeah. As last podcast, we still have Manic Crew. Fucking rad. That dude is just filling Instagram with fucking content. I mean, if you're taking a picture of your bike of any kind and it's cool and you hashtag Manic Crew, he's gonna repost it.
Yeah.
Dude's out there. He's
send him your shit, tell him what's up, tell him what you did, they'll fucking repost it. They're gonna do you a solid. They're sending us a care package right now, which I'm super fucking stoked about. I'm sure he heard me complaining about how I didn't have a hoodie last time.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that's what's going on right now.
Yeah.
So thanks, guys.
Check Manic Crew out on Instagram at manic_crew. That's crew with a C because, you know, he's...
Yeah, because he's grammatically correct.
Yeah. And maniccrew.com. Also, when you go to checkout, put in offer code FASTLIFE10 to get 10% off your first order. And like I said last time, get the homies together. All y'all go in on it. And then use the offer code so everybody gets the hookup. You know what I mean? Make it work in your favor. So check him out. Good dude. Tag him on your Instagram posts. And just support motherfuckers doing badass shit. Simple as that.
For the scene.
Yeah. Like I said, when you go to their website and you put that offer code in, or you just text him, or not text him, but send him a message on Instagram and say you heard him through our podcast, it helps our podcast gain momentum with sponsors, and we can actually, afford to kind of do more with it. So
yeah,
we very, very appreciate,
fucking this up. You're fucking this up.
Appreciate that. Yeah, whatever. Also, my boy Mark at Texas Performance, Mark is my dude.
Your boyfriend.
He's my boyfriend. Yeah, so check out Mark. His shop's down in Cedar Park, Texas, which is northwest of Austin. And, Austin is probably the capital of fun shit here in Texas for some people, mainly motorcyclists. Check his shop out, Texas Performance MC, and online at texasperformancemc.com. If you're in the area, stop by a shop, check them out, grab a shirt, grab a Dixon, grab a fucking oil change, grab anything you need don't grab it and run, but pay for it. But just grab it,
Why would you have to specify that?
Help support his business. He's a good dude. He's a solid dude. He's doing this on his own. He's a fucking like real deal mechanic, and guys like me who are, learn by trial and error. He went to school.
He's a real deal rider too.
Yeah, he fucking rides harder than I do. He also wrecks more than I do too.
Yeah,
so
probably
I guess,
because
he rides harder.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but check him out. Like I said, same thing. If you go see him in person, or if you follow him online, just let him know that you heard about him through us. And like I said, it helps track how our podcast can help the spread the word and things like that. Also new on the list, we picked up my buddy Brian at Paint Huffer Metal Flake. If you haven't been following us on Instagram, I don't know if that's the right way to
I don't even know why would you start it that way. Obviously, if they're listening to this, they follow us.
They probably follow us. Well, we've been, on Team Paint Huffer for, almost a year now, and we've pretty much used his flake on everything we've done since then. And
it has not gone wrong. It has not done us any harm.
Yeah, so also, you probably heard us talk about it in a previous podcast, and you actually will too today as well on this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Paint Huffer is supplying the paint industry with hands down some of the most wide range selection of metal flakes. They're opening up their product market to so many other areas, and really trying to put a lot of research and development into new products, which I don't think I'm supposed to talk about yet, but I'm just letting you know it's in the works.
Hush, keep it on the DL, man.
And another good thing is, he's supporting the community. So when you go buy a set of flakes from him, or a shirt or something like that, and you repost it on Instagram, he's sharing your shit because he understands that you make his brand.
These shops are the lifeblood of that.
Yeah, and you can't really. You can't really ask for a better, company.
Yeah.
And hell, even if you just go on the Instagram page, you'll be wowed by the talent pool of all the people that paint and
I think
use.
it's some really dope shirts, some really dope designs.
And speaking of that, he stepped it up, man. So basically, if you go to painthuffer.com, once you, pick up all the flakes, all the shit that you see, it's shirt, banner, all the cool shit. When you go to checkout, and if you put Fast Life 10 in, or not Fast Life, sorry, that's Manic Crew.
Fucking up your ads.
Better. If you put Fast Life in alone at checkout, he's giving you 20%.
Oh, fuck!
He's doing it. He wants you to he wants you to fucking be
Support
on the
this.
team, basically.
Yeah, man.
Check out Paint Huffer Metal Flake on Instagram at exactly what I just said, Paint Huffer Metal Flake. Tag them, hashtag them. All that stuff, like I said, check out their stuff. We use them in the shop already. We talk about him all the time.
Mm-hmm.
and like I said, they do rad shit.
Yeah, dude.
for
Buy their
rad
flake,
people.
paint a fucking dope ass paint job with it, tag
Yeah.
them in it, and watch that shit go.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, this week we have Silent G and his crew at Valley Customs. While we were out in California last week, we were able to stop in and check out his shop and his operation. And he just moved into a new shop, and he's got a lot of new shit going on. And I'm fucking mad jealous because that shop was dope, and the sun was out, and it felt good outside,
God,
and
it was like
everybody was
80
doing
degrees.
wheelies. And
Oh,
you know, I felt like there was a taco stand around the corner somewhere we could have got some tacos at.
Dude.
You know, so
that's a couple of Dos Equis.
yeah, I mean, it was a good time, and you know, we saw our homeboy Joe Kidd out there. He was passing through, slinging some FXRs up and down the coast. It was good catching up with him. We'll probably get him on the podcast sooner or later. But yeah, check out Valley Customs on Instagram at just Valley Customs, and I think it's the same for his website, which I didn't write down, but I think it's valleycustoms.com. They're over in Chatsworth area in the Valley, Southern Cali. Can't go wrong. Dude's fucking one of my favorite painters of all time, and I love his work. I think you're going to like him and me a little bit because I talk a lot. But yeah, check it out.
Hey guys, you ready to let the dogs out?
Fast Life Podcast. What up? We're live.
What's up, everyone? We're here with Valley Customs and the team, I guess.
Yeah.
The team.
The team.
So introduce you guys.
I'm Jared from Valley Customs.
Thomas.
Don Hackman.
Don Hackman. There we go. On our journey from NorCal to SoCal now, I hit up Gerald on Instagram. He's cool to let us come and check out the new shop and the operation and all that good shit. So let's tell everybody how, like, you were kind of, before you were kind of telling me, like, kind of how you got into this, but for everybody that's listening, so they'll have a better understanding of how this brand was built. You were telling me, like, you were working on the NFL player cars and shit like that. So have you always been in the paint body business and stuff like that, or?
Yeah, growing up, my dad did it. He was a striper, letterer, and just fell into it, and I love it. Did it since I was a kid. First job, doing street bikes.
For real, me too, man. That's where I was at.
Yeah, and
was he like back in the day, like when you were a kid? Was you like on the summers you had to come at the shop and like sand parts for him?
oh yeah, you gotta start from
Yeah.
the bottom, mixing Bondo, sanding, primer, taking body parts off, fixing them before you even touch a paint gun, primer gun, anything. You gotta put in your dues first.
Yeah, I feel like I probably spent 6 or 7 years of my life from like 13 till I was graduating high school when I was stripping fucking car panels with aircraft stripper and not knowing how to use it, getting in my eyes, my, you know how that is.
Burning your arms up.
Yeah. But yeah, man, like a lot of people kind of start that way, man. Like it's kind of like a forced thing, and I did not want to do it when I got out of high school.
Yeah, it was never a cool thing. It wasn't like
We didn't have Instagram
yeah,
back then.
Exactly. It was like recorders, VHS, or
Yeah, like a skate video or something. You got the kid falling around, but yeah, we didn't have like this platform to be glorified, I guess you would call it, that we do now. So it's like I think it's a lot more younger folks now are getting into it willingly. Like who the fuck wants to sand a car down? You know what I mean? Period.
Well, a lot of people don't know like the hard work behind it. They just see what we post when it's done. They say like, oh, that's badass. I want to do that, or I want to be a welder or a painter, or anything in the scene. And it's a lot harder than it looks.
Yeah.
Sometimes a lot of people make it look a lot easier than it really is.
So how long was it before basically you were doing that as a kid, and then what was it like after high school? Like what was the first step?
I actually started, it was in high school. My senior project was doing my buddy's square back. Shaving it. It got painted. It wasn't the greatest paint, but shaved it up, lowered it, did the minor motor work, and pretty much started from there. I mean, I did stuff before that, but that was what really got me into it. And then I got into the bag truck scene.
Yeah.
And I had a Silverado.
What time frame was this like?
It was about 98.
98, there you go.
Yeah, 98. Got my truck, chopped the top, bagged it. more into the metal scene of it, and not so much the paint and welding it, getting it ready for paint. It wasn't until later I actually started doing a lot more painting.
Yeah. So you were kind of fucking with like the body side and getting like shaving the door handles and
all the shitty stuff.
Yeah, that stuff was all
ugly
the
stuff.
Yeah. So what about you? Like you've been doing this shit since probably before all of us were born, huh?
Oh yeah, way before. Yeah, probably since about '67, since I was about 14.
Yeah, you were telling me about the Gypsy Rose. Is that what it's called?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
World's most popular lowrider. Yeah.
At least now it is.
Yeah.
It has been, but.
Yeah,
what was it like painting back in the 70s and shit? Like just, I mean, you could pretty much paint wherever you wanted. You didn't have to worry about EPA walking in and shutting you down.
Oh yeah.
OSHA and.
Difference was you got high. You had lacquer paints back there and stuff like that there. And paint jobs that you did back then, I mean, you'd be painting till the wee hours of the night going into the morning, and you'd see the sun coming up and stuff like that. And you take, for instance, a gallon of lacquer paint would make 3 gallons.
Yeah.
Okay, that's 150% reduction and stuff like that. And that's, as time went on and stuff like that, that's what killed the lacquer paint, because it all went in the air.
There's so much product being thrown out, and then.
Well, sure, and things like that there, and the 30, the 40 coats of paint is where that came from also.
So when they were used to those stories, where people used to gap the fenders an inch or a quarter or 3/4 of an inch or a 1/4 inch, and then the paint filled the gap.
Oh,
basically.
Sure. See, custom painting was never meant to be. A couple of my friends and stuff like that, Larry Watson, different people, Bill Carter, some of the icons and pioneers of the custom painting field stumbled on to ideas that actually worked.
It's we probably don't even have enough time here to explain it, but just thinking about it from like our generation of painters and custom paint and how we do it, I couldn't imagine, because I have sprayed lacquer and enamel before, and I spray it and I walk away. Like, how the fuck do you do custom paint with that? Like, how do you
keep going? Like,
you didn't stop.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, does it dry, but it's still manageable?
No, lacquer, I mean, you spray it and it's dry right there, so you can mask on it, keep going. You don't stop.
Okay.
And it's so thin, you don't have to worry about burying it in clear. You can get all the graphics done, stripe it, clear it, and then it's done. Because it's so thin.
That's crazy.
You lay your graphics down, and say you're doing any kind of graphics, tape shades or anything, it doesn't leave that line on the fade. It's smooth. It's completely smooth, and it's dry right now.
So like when we do paint jobs now, when we're doing 2, 3, 4 clear sessions, basically you can knock that shit out in 1 or 2.
We've done helmets before in lacquer, in one day, just because it dries so fast and you can clear.
Yeah, but the lacquer, the reduction, you've got at the very most right now, you've got maybe 10%. Of reduction, if that. It's usually right out of the can.
Yeah. Well,
1 coat now of your things and what have you was equal to probably 4 or 5 coats of lacquer.
Damn, that's crazy.
So it took spraying and spraying and spraying and spraying. And
what about like enamel? Like, I imagine you sprayed enamel for a while too.
Oh boy, I started with enamels when there was no hardeners.
Yeah.
And all you had was dry or wrinkle inhibitor.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it just, if you messed one up and stuff like that, it was almost a month. Custom pearl enamel fade away. Took you almost a month to fix it and stuff like that.
Wow.
I mean, you could spray a nice job, go out to lunch and come back, and it's like, man, the bucket, she's coming down. I mean, the stuff just kept going and going and going. And then you had guys that would hot plate.
Yeah.
Actually heat the paint up so it would dry a little quicker and stuff like that. And
I think maybe we just have it, we complain a lot as general, but we didn't have to deal with that. Could you imagine?
We were the pioneers to set the ground rules and stuff like that, and the format for you guys to come along. I mean, and the first catalyzed Ditzler acrylic enamel Del Star. Oh my God! I sprayed a car with that. Started hallucinating. Started puking, and I mean it was just unbelievable. Nothing we'd ever seen or anything like that.
That's wild.
And it just from there it just escalated into your urethanes and your polyesters now, and I mean just. It's amazing what the chemistry world right now has become, and that's what it is, chemistry world.
Chemical warfare.
Pretty much. That does sum it up pretty good.
You gotta know what works together, otherwise you'll have a shit show.
Yeah.
At the end.
For sure. So, like, after, so high school's out, you're doing the mini truck thing. Did you ever do anything that you're proud of in that, or was it all like a, kind of like a learning curve area?
I mean, all of it's a learning curve. I'm still learning to this day. I mean, you never can know everything, and I'm grateful that I was around my dad that striped and lettered. He painted too as well, just not a lot. And being around that and being around the couple people I was around, working on bikes and getting the jobs that I got. And learning the right way. That's I was taught the right way for the most part, and either took their way and added my own twist to it, or maybe I was doing that for a while and I'm like come along to someone else that I'm also grateful with Don. He's I've been working with him for 10 years at least over the shop I was at before. We were doing all the NFL, NBA players' cars. All the donks and boxes, and before it was popular, before there was kits, there was no kits. We'd have to make everything or build it. All the candy paint jobs. I mean, people think it's hard to shoot candy on a bike. Try to do it, on a fucking 71 Caprice or
it's a fucking trunk is huge.
You tiger stripe it if you don't know what you're doing. You waste material and time, and
I feel like that's a good point, because a lot of people that truly know how to candy a nice car. It's like one of those deals that people just like, that dude should be famous as fuck, because that's such a hard thing to do. I feel like a lot of us that do bikes, like primarily, we get so watered down as far as skill is concerned with the actual painting. Because you take a super fine silver and you ask me to go spray a car, I'm going to fuck it up for you real quick. But, you got
to make sure the silver lays right, and you don't have, high and low spots, dark and light spots. There's an art form to it. You just gotta, do it. That's all. That's all it takes. Is just to do it.
Yeah, being super focused on working on that type of, your job there. I had a good point, and then I forgot it.
It's all right.
No, it wasn't a point. It was a question, actually.
Too much paint.
Yeah.
Shit.
So. Yeah. The shit like this happens, man. You start.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, you're such an excellent podcaster.
Wait until you get up there in years. Happens all the time. Normally, just change channels.
I don't know. It's crazy, like being up here, man. It's hard to, like I said, the sun out here, this weather, this like atmosphere is just so hard to. How do you like stay motivated to work other than the fact that you have to, pay bills? It's like, everywhere else in the country, we all have this mentality of like Californians are just, selling along, just chilling, just real slow pace, like, oh man, we'll do it later, man. Yeah. And then I get here and it's like, I just want to like sit back and just sit on the beach or some shit. It's like
it gets chaotic. You gotta stay focused, and if you don't do what you love, especially in this industry, you're not gonna make it very far, because if you're expecting to get paid a bunch of money or get rich or stuff like that, it's not going to happen. You got to have the drive and the willing to learn every day and not stop learning as well, because you'll fall behind,
That's for sure. I mean, especially here where you guys are at. I mean, the talent pool in this, congested area down here is just, it's got to be every day. It's like a fire lighting under your ass, like get to work, step it up, be, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
A positive competition basically is what I would like to say it is. But man, I don't know, man. Like, that's what it. Like I was gonna say, like I didn't know that you were, like your dad was a striper letterer, and it's crazy because I'm a fan of your work, and I found that all the painters that I talk to or know personally that I'm super like, I love their work. They all have that that striping lettering background in their paintwork, and you can see it. And it's crazy because I didn't really know. I mean, I knew you striped and I did all that stuff, but you know, knowing that that's the background is crazy. You know,
well,
what I mean?
The funny part is I picked up more of the spraying and the painting that he did, and he did less of that, and I picked up more of the painting side than the striping side, and the striping and lettering actually came later, and you know, I stopped doing it for a while because we were doing these cars that didn't really need them. It was just you had to learn a candy paint job instead of striping or leafing, or you know, they just wanted, you know, candy blue, candy red.
Yeah.
And that's what my main focus was, because that's what was, you know, expected.
Yeah, it's crazy because you know, I airbrush. I that's not my main thing, but that's what I do. But it's just not popular right now. Like nobody hits me up and goes, "I want skulls or fire or all the traditional things that we would do as airbrush artists." They hit me up and go, "I want silver leaf, I want gold leaf, I want, you know, fish scales." And you know, it's crazy. It's almost like annoying to an extent, because you would do a set of fish scales and then somebody that knows nothing about paint, wow, that looks so detailed, and then like there's this skull that took me 4 fucking hours. And they're like not even looking, like, oh, that's cool, it's a skull, but God, like this, how'd you do that? And it's like,
or even the lace, they're like, oh, you do that all by hand. I'm like, well, yeah, but there's a process to it that makes it easier.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's done by hand, but it's not like I did each rose individually. I mean, some people do that work, but as far as lace and, you know, lowrider, you know, era, stuff like that, it's, you know, not as hard as people think. I mean, it is what it isn't.
You know what? I'll give you this thing. I was very reluctant to get into the panel game. You know, like when I've been painting for 15 years, custom paint, all that stuff. And probably about 2010, 11, 12-ish, it started like taking foothold. And I was like, that shit's easy. I'm not fucking doing that. And then, so I just, you know, I kept staying away from, that's for the fucking Service King and, you know, Mako guys that want to do work on the side. You know what I mean? I just didn't want to fuck with it. And then I, like, you know what? People keep asking me. I'm like, fuck it, I got to do one just to let them know what's up. And I was like, yeah, there's levels to this shit, obviously.
Always, yeah.
And I was like, man, like, this is actually easy, but it's fun. It's challenging in a different way than like the other paint jobs were. So it's like you can, you know, you take something, you know, like even like this, how you have the you know, the pebble base on there and stuff like that. There's so many really, really complicated things you can do within it, and us as painters are gonna look at it and go, fuck, man, that dude took his time on that shit. And then we can look at another dude that's like, yeah, I know where you got the lace at, you know, Hobby Lobby and Joann's.
I mean, it's an easy layup. There's an easy way to do it, and there's a right way to do it. And you know, there's traditions that's been passed down from, you know, generation, and you know, you see some jobs that just don't look right, they don't flow, or
flow.
It's like there's not really a certain right or wrong way, but there is a certain way that, you know, stuff is laid out and it looks right.
Yeah, you can actually go too hard on like on shading. Like, say if you're just doing like a black, like I try to tell people all the time. Sometimes, you know, a lot of people like to come in hard with black on certain paint schemes, like as far as in this panel stuff, and it just muddies the fuck and darkens it, and it's just like it killed it. Instead of like taking your gold and with the root beer, or your orange with the red or something like that.
That's just an experience. That's
it's experience.
Down to.
And you said something to me at Born Free this year that really resonated with me and the progression of my panel style.
Yeah.
And up until, and if you really go back and look at our Instagram up until Born Free and then after Born Free, you can actually see it. And it's because I was like so badly trying to fill up the canvas, so badly trying to fill up every square inch with, you know, an endless line or something, just so that it's all there. And you know, you were talking about just having nice clean panels like this, like the FXR out there. It's timeless. It'll never not be cool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's not busy. It's just, it's a fucking BMW, man. It's really nice. And so like from that point on, I started like trying to tone down how busy, you know, instead of having a panel with 4 other panels in it and 4 different styles, I was like, man, let's just clean it. Let's just ease into this now. And
like don't try too hard.
Yeah, and I'm super proud of where my work has come from that conversation.
I mean, that goes to show you, like, when we talk, it's, you know, talking as painters, it's not necessarily to, you know, see what each other's doing. Sometimes it is, and sometimes it's to better ourselves or the other person without even knowing it, in a sense. And it's like Bill Carter said, he's like, some people just do everything they learn on one job.
Yeah.
Like lace, scales, you know, water spots, candy, you know, leaf, the whole nine, you know.
Yeah.
They just, I learned this all, I'm going to do it all in one job. And
Yep.
it just doesn't look right.
Yeah, dude, when I used to do a lot of lowrider stuff back in the day, a dude said, you know, I was trying to, you know, I never really laid out patterns before on a fucking 59 or not 50, 59 Impala. You know, I got this fucking great canvas, right? You know, one of the top lowriders out there. And I'd never really done it before. And he's like, and I was like, I'm going to do this here, 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 and here. And he's like, you know, man, you don't have to do everything you got to do on one job.
Yeah.
Just, you know. And this is a guy that doesn't paint. So I was like, oh, you know, that's resonated with me ever since then, you know what I mean? Because, fuck, man, there's so many painters out there. And even now with this movement of, like, the panels and the flake and the lace and all this, it's strong. And you know what, I got into it late, you know what I mean, out of not arrogance, fucking stubbornness, basically. You know, I just didn't want to, I thought it was going to go away real quick.
Didn't want to change.
I wanted to change, but I just didn't think it was going to stick, you know what I mean? Because I love flow. Like, I love things that flow from, I mean, you said you used to paint sport bikes, and that's the great thing about sport bikes is that, you know, you have a piece that's connecting from front fender to a tail section. So when you go from that to a Dyna, you know, it's a change. Like, you have to retrain your brain to paint that thing.
You can't make the tank go into the side cover, and it just doesn't work that way. I mean, the FXR, you can kind of flow the side cover into the fender and stuff like that, or the fairing into the tank. But it's not like a bagger, full bagger, extended bags, fairing, you know, all connects or all molded together.
So when did you get into the like the sport bike thing?
Sport bike was in high school. I was actually right after 11th grade. I stumbled across this shop called Concept 5. Bert Silos owned it, and he just did GP motorbikes.
So yeah,
and I'm, you know, since I'm already at my house, you know, my dad's doing stuff here and there. I'm like, oh yeah, I know what I'm doing. Kind of bullshitted, and I wasn't even old enough to have a job, so, you know, I told him, oh, I'm 16, I can work.
Yeah.
So he's like, all right, come back in and, you know, see after school. And so I did that and prepped and kind of faked it for a little bit. But he was showing me, you know, and he wouldn't let me work on it, you know, paint or anything, but I'll be prepping and sanding, and he'd be showing me the right way or you know, if I was doing something wrong. But that's pretty much how I stumbled into the street bike scene. He did the GP motorbikes. And that's how I got into riding too, because they'd come in crashed. Yeah. And he's like, go ahead, just, you know,
go try.
You can't mess it up any worse.
Yeah.
You know, so
that's cool.
You drop it now, not when it's done.
Yeah. Yeah, the fucking I did the sport bike thing for a while too, man. It was great. Mainly the only reason I did is because that was something I can afford. You know, back in the day, I mean, fuck, when I was 21, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, I was big in imports back in the day, and then that transitioned into sport bikes, and then that transitioned into Harleys and stuff. So, but yeah, the sport bike, I mean, when you're painting it, like, I took pride in that because you could, when you created a design on it, it carried from front end to back, and you know, and back in this time when probably around the same time, it's like the popular thing on a Harley paint job was going to be a set of flames, which is
chameleon paint.
Yeah, chameleon paint, or that super weird kind of.
They have those splashes, airbrush splashes, scallops,
and the scallops, and the fucking the fucking checkered flag waving, and you know, so the paint jobs weren't really
graphics.
They weren't designed. They were like mini trucks. They weren't really designed, even though they were like just different elements, like a mini truck paint job, but they weren't designed to carry on or be a full fucking, you know, canvas. You know what I mean? It was like everything was painted as this tank is a paint job, this fender's a paint job, this front fender's a paint job. And when you get on sport bikes, you're like, fuck, man, I want I want it to look like, like say if you take a Hayabusa and you take the logo, what is it? I don't remember what the name or the fucking Japanese or the Chinese fucking emblem or whatever the fuck is on the side. It's like I forget. It's something weird, a kanji or some shit like that. But you like take it from the stock size and you like blow it up so it's like the whole side of the bike. That shit's sick looking. You know what I mean? It's like fuck, like just a flat black bike and a nice gloss black. That's a sick looking bike. You know what I mean? And it's just about using more than one piece at a time.
Yeah, and, sometimes less is more too.
Yeah, for sure.
A lot of people think they got to go all out all the time, but that's not the case.
So, what happened after the doing all the donks and all that shit? Like, how did it transition into like?
I hated painted bikes. I hated having to rack stuff or hold stuff to buff or just. I like doing cars.
Yeah,
they're bigger. I know it sounds weird, but it seemed like it was easier than bikes in a way for me, at least. Painting them, getting them done, buffing them or whatever it was. It was on the car,
Mm-hmm.
Or even if it was you had to rack the part, it was a bigger part, easier to do. And my buddies would be like, "Hey, paint this, bike for me." I'm like, "Man, now I gotta make something or do this."
Yeah.
When you don't have the right racks or anything, it makes it difficult. But
yeah, when you make stands that you can actually like screw down all the parts, it's super easy to polish and paint and prep and all that. So, what was the when did the idea to start this brand, this Valley Customs things come?
It was all by accident. I mean, like I said, I was doing cars and my buddy said, "Hey, do my bike," and I kind of fallen out of the paint scene. I just got burnt out.
Yeah.
And I was just over it and didn't want to do it anymore. So I did a few other things and my buddy was like, "Dude, I got a Harley, let's paint it." And I'm like, "All right, well, I don't have anywhere to paint it. I'm just going to have to paint in my dad's front yard."
Yeah.
And however it comes out, it comes out. I mean, when you're a painter, you basically paint anywhere. I mean, you don't have to have a booth. I mean, it's nice to have a booth. It comes out better. You don't have to breathe it as much or anything. But so I did it, put it on his bike, and someone else seen it, and he's like, "Hey, can you do my bike? Can you do my bike?" Next thing you know, it's like, well, now I kind of got to get a spot.
Yeah.
So, and then I did that black and white bike. It was in a bathroom at a motorcycle shop, airbrushing in the bathroom, and then I cleared it at a body shop. And I still wasn't trying to get it back into paint. I was just burnt out. That he was like, "Oh, just do it." So I did it, and shot for Hot Bike, and he's like, "What's your name?" I'm like, Valley Custom. I'm like, from the Valley, and it's custom, so Valley Custom. So I just, did that, and I was like, "Oh, I better do a website now if someone's trying to find me." And so rented a spot at a body shop, did that thing, and then outgrew that quick, and then got another spot, outgrew it, and now I'm here.
Yeah.
That's
fast
forward of it.
Yeah. So what's your story with the motorcycles and everything?
Man, I've been working on bikes since I was a little kid. Just always had dirt bikes. Man, I always wanted a dirt bike when I was a kid and never could afford it. So I ended up finding one on the side of the road. Found some pliers. Thought I'd be a mechanic. And just all I needed was pliers to fix a little bike. So got the bike running. Dirt bikes turned into whatever I could ride, 2 wheels. Ended up with a Harley. Had to fix it. Was broken. Ended up at a shop. Then I was like an apprentice thing at the shop, and it just never stopped. It just one thing after the next, shop to shop. I've worked at 5-6 different shops, and I finally just said, you know what, I can't handle this anymore. I'm doing my own thing. I'm gonna start my own shop. And that's basically what happened with working on bikes, and it's a passion. I've walked away from it a couple times, and I always end up back. It's just something I cannot get away from.
When it's a crazy thing because a lot of people are always going to say this to you, me, you. Man, you got such a badass job, man. You get to work on bikes all day long, and it's like, but when we work on them all day long, they don't become it's not the same hobby as it was when I just enjoyed them, So it's not to sound negative about the deal because I still rather be doing this shit than sitting in a cubicle somewhere, but there's so much stress in I mean, if you take it in account, just running a business, a small business at that,
legit. If it's legit.
Yeah, legit. And then you can't take into account like now, and we just had this conversation on a previous podcast, but you have, especially nowadays, you know, maybe you don't have to do it as much as we do nowadays, but we have to be a marketing agency. We have to be a painter, a designer,
A brand.
a bike build, a brand. Like, you know, there's no such thing as like, hey, just Jim's Auto Body on the fucking door no more, and then, you know, you make your own shirt. You know, now it's like people expect you to have apparel. They expect you to have video content and fucking all this stuff. And honestly, you want to. You're like, fuck, man. Like,
Yeah, you want to keep up with everybody.
Yeah,
You want
I-
to have all this stuff.
you know, it's like, this is how we live anyway, right?
Yeah.
You know, why not show the fucking world how we do it? You know what I mean? It's like I was saying, we just come in, sitting here for an hour and a half, and next thing you know, there's fucking a stunt show out in the fucking main road right here. Like, that's
every day.
it's Cali, bruh.
As fast as we can fix them, they break them.
Yeah. You know, and it's just, it's funny as hell because I'm like, you know, I'm like that dude, like, you guys are going to get in trouble, man. Fuck you guys. I'm going in. You know, but then I'm sitting outside looking at this shit, and it's like all the other businesses are out there with their phones too.
Yeah, that was
videoing the fucking dudes doing wheelies down the street.
Sometimes I wonder though. I'm like, are they filming because they want to film, or are they
They
filming
film-
for the cops? Like,
Yeah,
hey,
like,
this is what these guys are doing.
2 weeks later, they're
Yeah.
coming over to you and they're like, "Hey, we got this video you fucking
So we
around.
have a
you
whole
know, like,
case,
y'all need to chill the
basically.
fuck out." Yeah,
So we're gonna shut you down now. So you gotta find.
they're gonna
out
get
stuff.
blackmailed. Watch.
Yeah, it's tough, man. So, you know, like, you know, you were telling me about how hardcore the fucking, is it the EPA out here? Is that what they call them? Or they?
Yeah, I mean,
what's-
LA County, they got. I mean, if you're doing legit, like I'm
Yeah.
saying, I mean, you're not just or renting a spot. If you're doing your own thing,
In
you
your
gotta
garage
have
or some shit.
permits and
OSHA.
yeah, EPA, OSHA. I mean, permits for alarms. You got alarm. You got permits for the booth. Permits for the waste. You know, pretty much permits to do anything in a
Yeah.
shop. You know, the fire marshal's coming by, the AQMD's coming by, building and safety's coming by, and every time they come by, it's a bill. You know, it's not like they're just coming by to check up and making sure everything's, you know, legit. If it's not, I mean, say you got something in front of your, you know, your breaker panel,
Yeah.
they could fine you 10 grand just for that if they wanted to, or you're spraying the wrong thing, or if you have lacquer in your shop and you're not supposed to have it, it's a fine. So not only do you have to be, you know, safe on what you're doing and up to date, you'll get fined and you'll be out of business. And then after you're doing that legit and you're paying for everything, it's hard to, you know, be cheaper or whatever,
Yeah.
especially you're paying, you know, expensive materials and, you know, all the other stuff that goes along with it. It's at the end of the day, if you undercut yourself, you're just taking
Yeah.
money out of your own pocket. And if you're gonna work for free, I'd rather just work on my own shit.
Yeah, I mean, when you were telling me the price of, you know, your shop and you look at all the operation costs like we were talking about earlier, it's like that's a lot of money.
Oh, yeah.
Small business.
Yeah, it's small too. Yeah,
I mean,
I'm small.
Not to
Very
be exact, but for a year for you to be in business, it costs you over $100
Oh
grand
yeah, for sure.
before you take home
Yeah.
a dollar.
$1. That's
And that's not even materials.
that's not materials. That's just
Yeah, so you know when I tell, you know, I try to tell people, you know, and this is another thing I argue about I don't argue, but I argue the point of this is that it's kind of fucked up that when we're a motorcycle paint shop primarily, or even if you occasionally throw a bumper in the mix, it sucks that you're you know, you're subject to the fucking same laws that a
production shop. has.
you know, an everyday shop or a chain Mako or something, like, you know what I mean?
I mean, I still have to keep track of my VOCs even here, being such a small shop I am. I mean, you can come to my shop and I don't even have enough to probably do, you know, a whole car if I had
Yeah.
to. So they can come in and I still am subjected, like you said, to the same rules as someone spraying, you know, 5 gallons of clear a day on production cars, doing whole cars or doing whatever, and having 55 gallon of waste a month. You know, it doesn't matter.
that doesn't make sense. That, like, they should be able to, especially if you're having to keep up with the VOC shit and all the, or, you know, all your waste, you should be subjected to a certain level of it. You know what I mean? So it should be like, okay,
It's
you're
like a
only
tier.
spraying, if you're only spraying X amount a month, I can't expect you to abide by the same rules that the person that's really doing, you know, 5 gallons of clear a day.
Yeah,
You know what I
exactly,
mean?
Yeah.
That's insane. I mean, you got to think for you guys out there that don't understand like the paint business that much. Like, put it like this: our shop goes through maybe $30,000 to $40,000 a year in materials, maybe. And we paint anywhere from 20 to 40 bikes a year. An average car shop is going to go through $20,000 a month.
Yeah, a month. Yeah.
So when you just do that math, you know what I mean? And you think, okay, but we're subjected to being regulated the same way and with the same type of fines and the same type of financial, what do you call it? Financial investment to be able to spray a motorcycle, to spray a toy for somebody. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like it's tough.
It's almost like a hobby shop, but we're doing it for a living to pay our bills.
Yeah.
So it's just hard. I mean, not that I'm complaining. I love what I do. I wouldn't change it. And I mean, like I've said, I've gotten burnt out and done other things, but it's when you do what you love, it pulls you back.
Yeah. I mean, there's still money to be made, you know, but
of course,
the red tape can be.
It's hard.
It can really
deceiving too.
Yeah.
Like I'll get in here and I'll think sometimes I'm like, man, I gotta get this permit or I just paid for this, and it's like I gotta do this many bikes or this many jobs or get this in, and if week 3 comes around and I haven't made enough to pay my rent at the shop, let alone anything else, food, clothes, credit card bills, truck payments, bike stuff, and we all love bikes and we do what we love, and when you're that stressed out about it and trying to make it work, everyone's like, oh, just you're a painter, you can paint your own shit or do your own thing.
Save a little bit of money.
It's like I still have to pay for materials. It still costs me to do my own bike, whether it's materials. I'm not paying for labor, but I am, because I could be working on someone else's bike, making money to pay bills.
Yeah.
So in turns, I'm paying to pay my own bike, but when you're burnt out and and all those other things and variables, it's hard to do your own stuff. It took me almost 3 years just to paint my bike the way it is, the black and the white. It was cleared, sanded, and I was like, man, I gotta do this job. I can't be working on my own stuff and put customers aside, and if they see that,
because it costs you a lot more money than people think. They think you're saving money because you do the work, but in reality, for the week or two that you might have to spend on doing that job, I mean, think about it. If you gotta clear, let's just say a hypothetical number, $20,000 a month. What's that divided by 4? That's $5,000 a week. So it's costing you literally $10,000 to paint your own bike.
Even if you throw it in when you're doing clear section with someone else's, it's still it's still gonna be.
And then you get the anxiety of like, oh man, I don't have the time to work on this bike, but if I don't do it to the level of our shop and our brand, then people are gonna think I do shitty work. So it's like it's a very mind fucking situation to be in. And the thing that sucks is that like a bike shop in general, like a solely mechanical bike shop, is not nowhere near subjected to the same amount of rules and regulations that a paint shop is. And those are usually the same motherfuckers that are calling you up and jewing you down to fucking nothing, and they're throwing $4,000 on top of what you charge them to fucking sell the paint job. Yep. You know what I mean? And it's like, and they're like, oh man, this painter's getting all the money. They don't, you know what I mean? We want to be an in-house paint shop now, you know? And they don't know dick about it.
And they do it, and then they're like, all right, we're not going to do this
immediately regret it.
Yeah.
Immediately regret it,
Oh, we fucked up.
We always joke about it, but I used to pick up paint for him sometimes, and the cost of paint blew me away. I used to think that. I used to be like that, you know what I mean? Like, why are these guys charging so much for paint jobs? He's like, I'll go pick up that quart of paint. I'm like, this is what you pay for a quart of paint?
Yeah.
We start calling it gold. I'm like, that's not paint, that's gold, because it's ridiculous what it costs.
Well, you know what I've been trying to say, and your people that listen to this are going to hear it over time. Man, there's got to be like, here's the deal that sucks. We established we spend 20 to 40 a year, and the average body shop is $20,000 to $50,000 a month. I know some $50,000 a month people, right? But we paint one fender, right? We paint one bike. We paint one bagger, Dyna helmet, and it sells that brand of paint tenfold. You know what I mean? So it's like, we as an industry, as custom painters, don't even hit the blip of a map of what 1%. It does for PPG or House of Color or whatever the case may be. But we sell the paint though. You know what I mean? We sell the product for them in another way. So in a sense, we're worth more in advertising dollars than a dude that's just not just saying just, because I already established how hard it is to do a silver paint job, or you know what I mean. I'm not saying that those painters aren't good. They're probably better than us in a lot of ways, but due to the nature of business, what we do on something as simple as a front fender can outshine some perfectly
Gets more
laid out
attention.
silver paint job.
Like, oh, I just painted that truck
Well, yeah,
silver.
because somebody who doesn't paint isn't going to go up to a silver paint job and be like, wow, he fucking laid
Whoa,
that shit out.
look at that blend, bro.
Yeah,
Like,
you know
it's
what I mean? Like,
happening.
nobody's gonna look at that, but they see, like, you know, you got the fucking silver leaf and the pinstripes and the candy, and, you know, they see all this flashy shit, and they're like, wow, that's fucking impressive. You know what I mean?
Every one of those things is like a rabbit hole of time in your life to understand.
Oh, yeah.
You know, the pinstriping, the leafing alone, the learning how to lay out the graphics. You know what I'm saying? Like every one of these things is years of trial and error progression,
Messing up,
fucking up, and getting to a point. So when you think about how, like, if you just was to break down your skills as a painter over the course of, let's just say, 10 years, and you really allocate how much time you spent in every aspect of your paint game, and then you come to the market here and you got people that want you to spend a week's worth of your time. Put it like this: you're almost equivalent to what a doctor's been fucking putting in to fucking work to be good at what you're doing.
Yeah.
You know.
And you're still learning. I mean, I'm probably the hardest out of, you know, anything. That I'm hardest on myself, you know, trying to get it perfect, which it will never happen.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean. It's close as perfect as you can get, and you know, I'm so hard on myself with it that I stress myself out, or you know, like if it's not going the right way, I'll try to redo it, and then that's when it really gets where it gets to you when you start redoing stuff, and then it costs more money, and you're like, it doesn't matter because I don't want to put out something that's not par. You know, that's why they're coming to me, because they've seen my work, so I can't put out something that's, you know, not as good or better.
Exactly. So yeah, man, it's very tough, man. It's really hard to navigate these waters of like true success in the paint industry. You know what I mean? I mean, it's happiness. I mean, dude, when you finally finish that bike and that shit's rolling down the street, or you're sitting at Born Free or fucking Neptune's. I mean, one of the hundreds of places you got to go have a good time here in SoCal. You know, it feels great seeing that finished product, and honestly, I think that it's like a drug. It's like that becomes the high, and then the whole process of getting the bike to that point is the come down, and you're like, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? Why am I doing this?
Yeah, it's like the withdrawal.
Damn. You see that bike rolling down the street, you see it on Instagram, you getting tagged by Dynaholics and all these motherfuckers, you're like, hell yeah, fucking, I love my life at that point. But 2 weeks ago when you were, you know, having to re-clear that fender again,
Throwing shit around,
and you couldn't just the brush wasn't on your side, and you kept tearing the leaf or whatever the case it might have been. It's like, at that point, it's like, fuck, man.
And just when you think you have it down, it'll you get shot down, and something will happen, or it's like you've done 100 times and you know you didn't take that one step, or you know that extra time to do whatever it was because you're trying to rush it or get it out or whatever it is, and then you mess up the whole job, and it costs, you know, your sanity.
Time
cost your sanity. That's a good way to put it.
It does.
I mean, time is just so valuable in the paint business, man. Like, you know, you know, and I can't imagine if it, you know, the amount of work you did on that car, like having a fuck up on that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even want to be there. Like
I wouldn't even want to be in the same area.
It's called patience.
Yeah. You gotta have a lot of patience.
A lot of patience.
I tell people
that's
all
why
the
I
time.
hate doing cars or anything like that, because if you fuck up on, like, you know, a fucking hood or something, like one little fuck up, and you're like, oh, now I gotta re-clear the whole motherfucking thing. You know
It's
what
not
I
like
mean?
a fender where you just get it sandblasted and just start over or whatever.
Start over. You know. Yeah, I made that comment on you with the fucking. What's the thing so you can find out how many mils are on the fenders?
Oh yeah.
So that's what
no thickness. Yeah.
I'm like, come
stock
on,
paint,
dude.
Yeah, stock paint's like, you know, 6 to 8 mils, maybe a little less. But I mean, I just try to do that just to make myself better. That's all. I wasn't trying to, you know, make a point or, you know, say I'm better than anybody, because I'm not. But it's just for my own personal sake. Like, I got to do something either a robot did or someone that's been doing it for however many years, and that's all he does is spray Harley stuff, and I got it to where it's almost
to that,
right.
Well, I would allocate that to a level of passion for what you're doing. I mean, I feel like when you care that much, it shows that like what you want to provide through your company is a real quality product. You know what I mean? I mean, it might be hurting me right now, but I'm like, hey, as long as that shit looks good, I'm fucking shipping that stuff. But you know, I mean, that shit's cool. I mean, it does raise the bar, but it also, I mean, you got to think about it. Like all of us, you know, helping each other out or not, we all have to kind of think about like it keeps all of us on our toes. It makes us like reevaluate to where we're not getting comfortable to where we're just
keep pushing each other.
Yeah,
It's like
you're constantly pushing yourself to the next level. So
whether it be yourself or
that would be more like friendly competition instead of cutthroat shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I mean like, and I think that's the best thing about all this stuff, man, is because I don't know anybody. I know some of the best in this industry, and the higher up the ladder you go, the more friendly and the more advice they give and the more they'll talk to you and the more they like your shit on Instagram. It's just the ones that you have problems with are the ones that are like they have that old mentality of like I'm gonna come on the block and I'm gonna hit the biggest guy in the mouth and go that way. And we
can't do that.
Can't do that nowadays, man. You know, because
yeah, it's usually like the newest, like the people who are new to it or they're doing it in their garage and they can't do something right. It's jealousy.
Well, I wouldn't even say it's just the newest guys. I think a lot of the new guys are super receptive and interested in anything that the old guys got to say. I think there's a generation of like maybe it's the guys that were like really big in the chopper day or the TV chopper shit. I feel like those guys are kind of more of the
thing.
You know, I don't want to fuck with you guys. Like you guys,
or even if they just started out like painting and didn't do all that work before the bondos, the prep work, all the hard, stuff that makes the paint look good. Because you could have an awesome paint job and shitty body work and it'll look like crap. You could have really great body work and have a shitty paint job and it'll look shitty.
Yeah, it's like they used to say, like you see those old. I mean, I used to work for Torres Empire, which they put on the Super Show here in LA, and the very first Super Show that he put on here was probably like 2011, and I was working for him at the time. And I was looking at all these fucking cars I've been seeing on MySpace and Facebook, all these badass lowriders. And then you see them in person finally, you're like, whoa, like, is there any clear on that car? You know what I mean? like somebody that would do some fantastic artwork and then have no clear on it or a shitty clear job or you can see rust coming through the paint job. It's just like there's so many facets of this diamond of custom paint that it's so rare that somebody just really covers them all.
Yeah, you gotta know it from start to finish. Otherwise, you're not gonna execute it the way you think you want to, or the way it's gonna happen.
So how's the scene down here? I mean, obviously everybody pretty much. I mean, I know in Texas, like as far as the Dynas and the FXRs and the culture itself, I mean. It sucks because it's y'all's and we're Texas and we're pretty prideful people. But I mean, it is. I mean, it's still cool though because it's all purposeful. Nothing about the fairings, the T-bars, the suspension. Nothing about that is like pointless show. It's all got a purpose for the way that for the opportunities you have in any direction right here. The riding and the and.
It's not a new style either. It's been out for a long time. It just got adapted by a lot more younger generation. A lot of younger kids are riding Harleys now that weren't riding, 5-10 years ago or even longer. We're on street bikes, like you said. I grew up on street bike, and that's what I could afford. And a Harley was an old man bike. Yeah. Or however it was, how it worked out. But now it's Harleys are the rad bikes.
Yeah. Those fucking no matter where you go, man. You take a left on any street down here, you're gonna see a Dyna in a parking lot somewhere.
Yeah, in Dallas or whatever, it's like you'll see a fucking bagger or something like that. Like you don't fucking see Dynas like that.
We're in Dallas and you see a Dyna and he's got 2 Rs. I'm like, do I know that dude? It's such a small community that you're like, I feel like I was like, we follow each other on Instagram.
Oh yeah.
It's like there's this weird connectivity to it, but.
It's here too. I mean, we feel the same way. Every time I see a Dyna, anything, running around with tall bars or whatever, I think the same thing. Oh, do I know that guy? What's going on? But
or did I work on it?
Yeah, exactly.
So
fix that.
Would you say is the scene here more still about just getting on the highway and doing riding, or is it kind of transitioning to where you have a lot of kids or group of people that just want to stun them and just want to hit.
everything.
Yeah, it's very mixed. It's very mixed. There's a couple guys you met here that would much rather take their bikes to the stunt spot and go fry a tire than go ride, anywhere up the coast or whatever. And then there's guys the opposite that are like, you guys are dumb. We just want to jump on our bikes and run to Oregon. What I mean? It's very mixed.
Well, what's badass about that is that you can do that on the same bike.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? As opposed to, like I said, when we were in sport bikes, we would either set it up to wheelie, set it up to drag race, or we'd put a fucking 360 on the back and LED it up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, but none of those associated to, hey, let's jump on and go to Oregon.
No.
No. So, that's what's cool about this whole market. What was it like whenever they dropped the Softail out here? Was everybody really mad, or were y'all just making good memes?
No, I mean, a lot of people were pretty mad. I was skeptical. I was like, man, I don't even want one of those things. I don't want to look at those things. I don't even know if that's a Softail. I don't even know what that is. But I went and rode one after a while. I was hesitant, a little stubborn myself, and it's not too bad. I don't think it's going to turn into what the FXR is.
When we were in NorCal, we were talking with Jay from Fab 28, and he said it best. And he said, you know what? We're gonna build one. I think him and Sacha is building one for the Born Free thing. He said, we're not gonna make a Dyna out of this bike. We're gonna make something new, something different. And I was like, that's cool, because it has to be. Because here's the cards, man. This is what we're playing with now. We at some point, and the same thing I was telling him is like, if people aren't, especially as painters, this performance bike market that we're in, they don't need paint on that shit. Mm-hmm. But we need paint to be in business. Yeah. So it's a weird waters to navigate and try to figure out how to be.
It's kind of like hot rods. You're not going to take a '69 Camaro and make it a lowrider. You're going to make that car what it is. You can't change stuff. But I when they came out, I wasn't like, oh, I'm gonna go get one of those. I wanted to check them out, but then again, I ride an FXR too. I'm not. And when the Dynas were out, I still didn't get a Dyna, or I didn't get a different kind of bike. I love the FXR. I got a Dyna and I had it for a couple months and got rid of it because like I said, I grew up on a street bike. I got on this Dyna that wasn't set up at all, but and I was like, this thing's, you can't even brake, you can't turn, you can't stop, you can't go. What the hell's the point of this? So then I got a FXR actually from Aaron from Suicide Machine Co. And it was set up, not all the way right, but it was done enough, And it had the shifting how I like, because I started riding on GP Moto, so it's one up, the rest down.
Yeah.
And he had it set up like that. My Dyna wasn't. I kept trying to fight it, and I got around to where I could ride it, but as soon as you get in the canyons or you start riding, you don't think about it, and you'll misshift. You know? So I got on that thing, and I already felt more comfortable. And then you have the suspension set up, the brakes. I'm like, okay, this is what I like. This is what I'm gonna ride.
Yeah, I feel like the bike. I rode it. It's definitely potential. You know what I mean? Like hell, even the new bagger that I got, it's fucking effortless. But my FXR, man, I can never sell that bike. I love it so much. I built it to the standards of what I wanted, and it really does. When you ride an FXR, and then say for instance, I had an 09 Dyna, my blue one that I built, and I was riding that, and then I built the FXR, and then I rode the FXR, and then coming back on the Dyna. He would ride it and he'd be like, dude, this thing rides like shit. And I'm like, dude, no, it doesn't. And then I would, after riding the fucking FXR, getting back on the Dyna, I'm like, I don't remember if it was this hard to turn or not. You know what I mean? It's just a really weird deal, But it was an 09. I don't really like the 06 and up Dynas, to be honest with you.
I've never really ridden a lot of them. Like I said, I just jumped on that bike and fell in love with that. I've ridden a couple other ones, but not enough to know if I really like it or don't like it either.
There's so much more heavy, compared to the 99 to 05s. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think they both have their benefits. The 06 and up bikes, if you were to ride that from here to your house, or you ride an FXR, you'd be like, all right, that Dyna is a little heavier, it's a little more stable on the freeway. That front end goes high speed pretty well in a straight line. So. They definitely have their benefits. Come with the 6-speed,
Yeah, mine didn't.
His was fucking. I was like, the whole time thing, like
Well,
squirting it up.
it had a Conley's like one piece on it, so it was no like wind distribution on the fairing.
It'll
So
move your handlebars
you get
around.
about you get over 100, and that thing it's like the front end lifts because of
Yeah.
the way the fairing, and it's not so much a Conley's fairing that made it happen.
No,
it's
it's
just
just
any
fine.
fairing.
the fairing. Yeah,
Yeah,
it like
that
wants to
shit
lift
felt-
the front end and be looser.
That shit felt super sketch riding that motherfucker down there.
Yeah.
I did that actually. I bought one. I was riding the crap out of it, no fairing, threw a fairing on it, and all of a sudden I had high speed wobbles over like 90. I was
Yeah.
like, whoa, wait a minute.
Yeah.
What happened here?
Yeah, but I mean, to me, it's like it's kind of hard once you've got a fairing on a bike to even
Oh no.
go back.
Yeah,
to
you can't
not.
go. You can't go back. No. If you actually ride your bike
Yeah.
and you ride when it's cool outside or cold, you need a fairing.
Yeah, because I mean, even now it's like the FXR. I'm fucked now because my FXR is lowers and my bagger doesn't, and now I want lowers on my bagger.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, why the fuck are my pants legs flapping in the wind?
Even I thought the T-Sport fairing was awesome. Cut out the wind. It did what it's supposed to do, and then I built my FXRP with the fixed fairing, and I'm like, I didn't even know how I was gonna like it. I was like, I don't even know if I'm gonna keep the fairing on there or not. And I rode it, and I fell in love. I'm like, I'm not even, this is it for me.
Yeah, that's it, man. Yeah, the T-Sport fairing, because when my first dyno that I did, I rode with that fairing, and it was great. And I had the bike at the same. When I picked up the bike I bought it from a used dealership. It had some 20-inch apes. It did have mid controls on it, so I was good there. And
You looked ridiculous riding
Yeah.
that thing home.
But even better, I bought it from this dude in Denton, Texas. No, McKinney, Texas, right? And the guy, we were sitting in there, he drove me up there, and the motherfucker's ringtone was a Sons of Anarchy song.
Oh
Yeah.
man.
Run
So
through
you
this
got an
world.
SOA bike, man.
Yeah, dude, it was fucking terrible. And he was like one of the selling points. Like we knew what the fuck we were getting into, but this
Yeah.
dude was still trying to sell it to us. So we're there, and he's like, "Yeah, it's got these fucking apes on it." And
Yeah, I told him,
Willie
"No, I'm
G
taking them
skulls,"
off.
and I'm like, "Wow, he's really into that."
Yeah.
like he thinks that's cool.
That's the thing about Texas is that like we have if you were to take the population of dynas, yeah, we have a fuck ton. The population of younger under 30 people riding dynas, no. Now we're just got a couple stunt guys that are starting to get into it. Austin's got a really good scene. Houston's got a good scene. Dallas has more. I feel like Dallas has more FXR guys than all of them, to be honest with you. But you go to fucking a bike event or whatever, and you see a bunch of dynas out there, a bunch of wide glides and duck fenders and fucking, apes and, it's just. But here's the deal, like that's what they're subject to. They ride around with their their clubs and their ministry clubs and all these different things that we have out there, and none of those motherfuckers are riding like these HA dudes out here and all the other guys out here.
Yeah.
Like they don't set their bikes up. You don't see like I imagine if I saw you rolling a bike around here that you're gonna be clubbed the fuck out. You know what I mean? You're gonna have some T-bars on it, a fucking fairing of some sort, and.
Yeah,
But
especially wanna go 100 miles
you
an hour.
in Texas is riding a fucking Softail, a bagger, or something like that. It's a completely different look. So when these kids come out and see, guys like you, they're gonna be like, oh, I guess this is the kind of bike I need. This is the style I need. And then everybody gets prideful, so they're like, oh man, I
I mean, I would
care.
imagine they can see all these dynas, like the dudes who got the apes on their dynas. They see all these other dynas on Instagram and shit.
Well, I think
They
now
start
it's
realizing
coming
they're a
along.
fucking minority.
But here's the deal: no matter what, though, like if all your boys are not on that shit, it gets hard to kind of like
Change it up.
be that one to do it alone. You know what I mean? Like there's no
right and wrong way, but
Yeah.
if you like it, you like it. I mean, if
But see-
you can ride it, you can ride it.
The only way I would say it is wrong is because a lot of people in Texas that do have dynas that are riding them like that, they're literally only riding that because that's the only bike they can get at the time. So it's like, oh, I got this dyna, but next year I can take a loan out of my mortgage and I'm gonna go get me a bagger. Yeah, which cool. But I'm like, dude, you got the bike you need right now. You just kind of on the wrong end of the spectrum. You can really have something fun right now.
Yeah, it makes a huge difference how you set your bike up. That's for sure.
I mean, you take a fucking any bike and you put ape hangers on it with nothing on the front to block the wind, you're gonna hate motorcycles.
For the most part, I think so.
I mean,
yeah.
you're good for 40, 50 miles at a time. That's it. Going somewhere.
Yeah, wind sail.
You're just fucking catching it. It's gonna fatigue you so fast. It's gonna be more of a job to be on your bike than it is enjoyment. It's like I don't know that shit. But
Teach his own.
I like to cruise, you know what I mean? Go fast. When I say cruise at like 90, 100.
yeah,
But be able to do it, you know, safely and go down the road and go straight and not, you know, get there and you're tired.
yeah. Especially here, I mean, even though, you know, everything's right here, it's still spread out pretty fucking far. And if you think about, you know, riding from here to fucking, you know, Huntington Beach or something, you know, even lane split, you're gonna be pretty fucking tired just running through
Traffic
all those cars.
and all that,
And then if you jump out and you go take Topeka Canyon or whatever, fucking down to PCH or wherever the fuck that road is down there.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't have shit like that in Texas. We do have it in Texas, but it ain't close. You know what I mean? Yeah, you guys been out there before? Or?
No.
You haven't?
Furthest that way I've been is about Arizona.
Arizona? That's kind of like being California.
Similar.
Yeah. What about you? You gotta been around, huh?
I don't remember Texas too much. Yeah.
Well, if you drove through it, you remember it because you'd be like, "Why the fuck am I still in the same state?" You know what I mean?
Yeah. Built a car for a guy at Magoo Street Rods. He was pretty well to be a 32 Vicky and stuff like that. And he was from Texas. And he wanted to hold this 32 Vicky at 7,000 RPMs for 10 miles and not miss a beat.
Yeah.
And I mean, that tells me just a long road.
It's pretty much the correct assessment.
Yeah.
Texas is such a big state that we actually have, like, I guess it's the same way like they say out here, like, you know, California is big enough to where you really have like 4 states here. You got like SoCal, you know, the middle,
SoCal.
you know, and then north and whatever else. You know what I mean? They're completely different worlds.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
Talk different, dress different.
Yeah. Like we don't hear hella down here very often.
Never.
I went up there for a while. I was doing a job for Schultz for this charity event we did. Me and Schultz painted, and was up there. I was only supposed to be up there for a couple days. I ended up being up there for a little over a week, and I come back and I'm saying hella
Yeah.
with not even being up there for that long. Just happened to be.
It gets fucking just transplanted into your vocabulary. Yeah, he did it.
I mean, in your defense, I was here for 2 days. Or I was at B. Where's that?
Brentwood.
Yeah, we're in Brentwood. I was there for 2 fucking days, and we come home and I'm saying hella every fucking 5 minutes, dude.
Yeah. So what's all? I mean, like this year. I mean, what do y'all? I mean, so the shop, man. I actually, you know, I know you guys can't see it on here, but it's fucking, it's dialed, man. It's a setup, right on the road. You know what I mean? The main road off the highway, right? I guess. It's
Close enough.
It's right off the
yeah.
118, yeah.
Yeah. So, and it's got plenty of space, and I mean, fuck, man, like.
Still got a lot of work to do, but I mean.
We got the right location.
Yeah.
We're gonna build a shop now. You know what I mean? We gotta set it up right, get all the lifts in order, get paint booths cleaned up, and get everything just rolling so we can flow bikes in and out of here.
Yeah, so I mean, you got drag now. You're selling parts and with the Cerakote. And do you do powder coating, or do you
No,
just try to?
I outsource it. I offer it.
Yeah.
I got a good friend of mine. He always coming down here. I'm going to him. So I like to offer it to people. Sometimes it's easier to have them drop it off here, or you know, rather than going out.
I mean, if you're building a bike, I mean, it's easier for the customer if you handle that. You know what I mean? Like I tell people all the time, it's like, yeah, you might be able to save $1 or $2 here and there, but do you really? If you work a job and you know, not in the motorcycle industry, and you know, you have your shit powder coated, something ain't right. Now you got to come to the shop, putting it on, pick it up, take it back to the powder coater to get it repaired, and then bring it back to the shop. I mean, it's just easier if you find somebody like what you've set up here to handle a build from start to finish. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and there's a lot about liability with it too. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? I just had a customer. He took all his parts, took them out and got them powder coated, brought me all the parts back, and I said, "What is this? I can't use any of this." You know what I mean? The guy just sand everywhere, powder coat on gasket surfaces. And if that was me dealing with it and a powder coater handed me back parts like that, I'd be like, "No, you get to fix this. I'm not taking it." But since customer already took it, he owns it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so having it done in house, we know our powder coater, we know he's good. You know what I mean? So it makes it a lot better.
And I always tell people, it's like, man, if you really work with an individual, you know, maybe not all shops have the luxury of building bikes and selling parts and working on them in the same place, but when you're dealing with a shop in general, like if you support them, you know, from the beginning to the end of the build, it it frees you up financially to where you can be more helpful to him.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, it's helpful. It really is. Like if every department of your business is making money, and he bought the parts from you, he's having you put them on. It's a lot easier to cut him a deal on labor, or maybe cut a deal on parts or whatever, when you're still making income on the other areas.
It
Instead
helps
of
the customer too, because he's not buying the wrong part, or bringing it in, it's the wrong size, the wrong size cables, or the wrong bars, or the wrong whatever it might be. We already know kind of what to order, so we'll get it, and they won't have to spend the money twice, or not have to return it, or get bad powder coat, or whatever it might be.
Yeah. What have y'all had to deal with it yet on some of these knockoff eBay parts, like the NES?
Yeah.
Yeah, that shit's a nightmare. I was talking to my buddy Brian, and he was telling me how these cats will, even shops, like, they'll sell these parts to customers, and they'll come in, they'll sell these parts, they'll sell a full build to a customer, put all these parts on the bike, the floorboards are cracking off, the grips are coming apart, and then they'll call Arlen Ness and be like, hey, man, your fucking parts are falling apart. And they paid full retail at a shop, and they think they're buying Arlen Ness parts in the shop.
And they're charging Arlen Ness.
Yeah. And then there's also the guys out there that like, oh, fuck, I can get these grips for $20 instead of $80.
Yeah, we see that all the time.
Yeah, and then they wonder why they get that shit, and it starts doing that.
And then, and the
Grips
sad part, and I feel super bad for companies like Arlen Ness, because they're getting fucked twice there.
Yeah.
They're getting fucked because they're not getting to sell you the product that they built, but they're also getting the bad reputation of the bad part that the other person bought.
Yeah, and they'll, they don't know that, so they're like, oh, fuck that, fuck them, because they sold us a shitty part, or whatever. I mean, it even comes down to these other companies manufacturing these parts for the, these bikes that aren't taking their time on the layups on the fiberglass, and they're advertising it as whether it be paint ready, or minor work, and then you get it, and then you're like, dude, I'm gonna have to put 20 hours into this build, or into this bearing, to you want to paint it gloss black. Well, you're gonna have to body work it first. And he's like, what do you mean?
Yeah, that's a big thing that people don't think about. Like, they feel like it's huge, like, from us doing baggers, you know what I mean, which is, trust me, the fiberglass that a lot of the Dyna companies do is way better than the shit we were getting on baggers.
Oh yeah, I bet.
But there's still, I've painted a few fairings that were like, and
there's still some kinks to be worked out.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Just taking the time, doing the right layup, getting the air pockets and air bubbles out, and gel coating them, making them nice. And there's a lot of good companies out there that make nice parts, and there's some that just were made on a Monday or a Friday, or just there's some guy they hired and they didn't lay it up right. It has nothing to do with their quality of work, so to speak, but it just sucks. You got to tell the customer why he's got to spend that much more money when he already expected to spend a certain amount, in a sense, because he said, it's ready for paint, but it's not.
It kind of sucks for painters, though, is because they're, so many people have been conditioned to shop on shelves and on websites and take the word of, okay, well, this part said it's ready for paint, because it said it on the website, so they don't even think about it, right? Yeah. And then they bring it to the body shop and they think, oh, you guys are just trying to fuck us.
Or rip us off, yeah.
I'm like,
trying to get an extra $400 or whatever it is,
You know what I mean? It's like, no, dude, like,
I'm trying to save you money.
And then you got to turn around and completely explain the process of paint to somebody.
Yeah.
To
you're paying me to
justify,
do my work, so
to justify your hey, look, this isn't as great as you thought it was.
I'm not going to the doctor asking him, well, why are you doing this or why are you doing that? I trust him because that's what he does. So if you're coming to me for a reason, or whoever else, you're going to them, and you should just trust them. And I mean, obviously you have your input most of the time, but you gotta let them do their thing, and how they do it is, if it's the right way or the wrong way, you gotta just trust them.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's what it is. I mean, like when it goes back to what we were talking about earlier, it's like we all have a different style, different level of ability too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's some great painters. There's some really good painters out there. There's some that, are good in one area, not so good in others. And that's technically all of us to an extent.
Yeah.
But, what I try to tell people is that, like, we all offer something that's significantly different if you have the eye for it. Like, we could put maybe some of our bikes close together, and to certain customers or certain people,
they won't see.
Oh, it's the same shit. Yeah. But you know, it's the same thing. It's like I always tell people, I fuck myself painting my FXR gold, you know, because it looks like the bike to somebody that doesn't know what the fuck they're looking at. It looks like the bike that Schultz painted.
Yeah. Or someone else painted. Yeah.
Yeah, and
they're
so
like, oh, this guy painted this. It's like, well, you know, with social media, it's kind of hard. There's only so many certain colors you can do in so many different ways, especially on the same bike, the same tank. It's not a different style or design. And if he wants to come with you, there's only so many different color blues or golds, or, you know what I mean? So it's hard to, you know, make it look completely different. You know, it's got to be, it's going to look somewhat similar. I mean, before social media, I could have painted something. Yeah. And then you could have painted something, and it could have been very similar, but since
we don't
100,000 people didn't see it, they didn't say, oh, he copied him, or, you know, you copied him, or it looks like that bike, unless you saw it in a magazine. And then, you know, you had your bike or a customer's bike.
You know, and I even told Schultz, you know, I was like, hey, man, I love that gold bike. As a customer, I wanted a fucking gold bike. Yeah. And I don't know about you guys, but the only nice gold candy out there is Pagan Gold.
Pagan Gold, yeah.
So, you know, you kind of got, you know, under that deal. But
I'm not going to use Spanish Gold.
Yeah, Spanish Gold is not really designed for, you know, like its purpose in paint is not really an overall thing, you know.
You just got to make it your style. I mean, it's going to be the same color.
Yeah, that's the thing. I try to tell people, it's like, dude, like, put them side by side. They're way different. Way different. Yeah. You know? His bike is sick, you know? It's a badass paint. His whole style is cool, but it's way different than your style. It's way different than my style. It's way different than fucking Org up in Fresno. It's way different than Hot Dog. Hot Dog's got a... you look at his paint jobs and you can see his style in it. Yeah. You know? But a lot of people, you know, there's a lot of people that really just, you know, blue's blue, red's red, you know, and those are the ones that are like, oh, look at this fucking fag, he copied so-and-so, you know, fuck that guy, he doesn't have any ideas.
Those are the guys, the ones that really don't know that we even talk to each other as painters or builders or anything. And then, or they'll call me up and say, hey, how much for this? And they'll try to quote it out, and they're like, oh, so-and-so is this much. I'm like, oh, yeah? I'm like, hold on a second. Hey, did you say this? He's like, no, I didn't tell him that. And then I'll, you know, it's like, well, why would you lie? You try to, you know, get a lesser price for, you know.
Yeah, it's funny. This dude, I can't say his last name. It's like Brad Huspeth or something like that. This dude he's like out of Tennessee, and he painted this fucking soft tail. It was like an off-white, like oriental blue, like super, super light oriental blue when he sprayed it. It was very thin. And then it had black, and it was just this sick-ass paint job. Sick. Flaked out panel job. And I saw him post it, and I commented. I was like, dude, that's so sick. You know what I mean? I fucking fell in love with it. And I kept looking at it. Like, I want to fucking paint something in that fucking color scheme. Mm-hmm. And so I sent him a message and said, hey, dude, I got a close friend that I'm about to do a bike for. And, you know, I was like, I just want to ask you if, you know, would you hate me if I did my own version of that color scheme? He goes, dude, I'm honored. I use your paint schemes all the time. I'm like, oh, thanks. You know, and that's what it is. It's like, man, you know,
it's everybody feeding off everybody.
Yeah, you know? I mean, here, and I said the same thing to my buddy Homer. I was like, man, I can, you know, when I'm like trying to find inspiration when I'm designing a paint job, I can go to your page and I can look at one of your jobs, and I can literally look at 3 square inches of your paint job and find inspiration in that. It's not that I'm going to copy the whole thing, but I can be like, that's it right there.
Or you didn't even think like, oh, that color would go with that color. Like I've done so many different things and then did a pinstripe color where it's like, you wouldn't even thought about, you know, or I'd see someone else do something. I'm like, man, I didn't think those 2 colors would look good together, but they do. So I'm just going to do, you know, something similar, you know, or if someone even comes in with a picture or something on their phone, like they'll come in with, you know, say your Instagram pulled up. Like, why don't you just go to him? Well, I like your style. I'm like, so I don't get it. But so then they're like, so I want this bike, you know, something. I'm like, okay, well, you know, we could do something similar to that, but I'm not going to copy it. There's been people out there that actually copy paint jobs.
Yeah, and I noticed it. A lot of that in Thailand.
Oh, yeah.
They love it.
You know?
I've had ones that they almost identically copied, which, you know, it sucks, but, you know.
It's flattering and it sucks, but it, you know, it's awesome. I've had lots of my bagger paint jobs like ripped off to the T, you know, but I can't say that I'm mad whenever I'm walking to the, you know, give you the scenario when I saw him, like walking up to Mount Rushmore in Sturgis one day, and I parked my bike in a garage and I'm walking down the aisle of bikes to go up to Mount Rushmore. I'm like, holy shit, no, that's not the one I painted. And I'm like, it's the same color scheme, the same flow on some normal ass bike, you know what I mean? That who knows, I don't even remember where it was painted out or like from. And I'm like, hell yeah, that's cool. You know what I mean? Like it's a level. Now, I would probably be a little more butthurt if like he, you know, because I've actually had big name people in the airbrush custom paint world, not so much in our little niche of it, but in the world of it. You know, even someone that was at SEMA that like blatantly ripped off my paint jobs before, and I'm like standing with him at SEMA. I'm like never, because here's my thing. Like I'd always tell people, like if I did something, like when I told Schultz, like dude, I like gold, you know, and I love your bike. I didn't necessarily ask you permission to paint it that gold because you don't fucking own painting gold. Yeah. But just know that I wasn't trying to copy you. I just was inspired by your job. You know what I mean? I tried to do my best.
I mean, it's artwork at the end of the day.
To go my direction. But
art's on bikes, art's on cars, art's on walls.
Yeah.
I mean, pictures and pretty much anything you could put it on.
I found myself a lot of times like I love purple as a color, but I like it more.
Keep it up.
I like it more as a pinstripe color. And every time, like the shop I do a lot of work for in NorCal, he's always like, you know, do whatever you want, just no purple pinstripe, because I do a lot of purple pinstripes on a lot of my shit. And it always sucks because we'll be doing a bike. I'm like, man, what color should I pinstripe this? I'm like, man, purple would be sick right now. He's like, he told me not to do purple.
My go-to is black.
Yours is black? Yeah. I used to, I use House of Color when I stripe, and House of Color black dries fast. Yeah. Same thing with like white orange. Too. White's the same way?
Silver and one shot will dry fast too. For real? Any metallics, you know, brass or... Yeah, I like using brass instead of gold on one shot, but... Yeah, it's just what you're familiar with and what you think will look best. Like, even on this job right here, I did the green next to the blue and the gold, and if you were to tell someone, like, I'm gonna paint your bike blue and silver with, like, a gold fade and green pinstripe and black, they'll be like, no, you're not. It's gonna look ugly as shit. Yeah. But... it came out nice. And it's how you execute it. That's why sometimes I don't like to. I don't know if you noticed, but I do sketches for just about everything. Like on the baggers, I used to draw the whole bike, but on the Dynas, I just give them a side profile, and I honestly do that for myself. Yeah. You know, but man, ever since it's 1 out of every 20 customers is like, dude, like I trust you. Whatever you want to do, if you want to put pink in it, like I know you have an eye for it. But every once in a while, you're like, man, I'm like, you know what would be good? Purple pinstripe. I'm not a fag. You know what I mean? Hey, I love, on my orange bike, I did the light magenta and dark magenta. And some people don't even see it. And some people are like, even my wife was like, when you do the pink pinstripe on there? I'm like, when I painted the bike, what else would I have done? You know, just
I love that bike
too,
man.
You overlook it sometimes because of the orange and all the other colors.
Yeah, that Cerakote gray that you did on there, that tungsten, right? It's a tungsten? Yeah. Like, first, that's the color I did on my FXR and my Dyna, but that orange, like, I'm a huge orange fan.
Oh, me too. I love orange.
You know, my baggers back in the day used to be orange, and I had to force myself away from it. Like, I've always loved the color blue, as in, like, I appreciate looking at it. Mm-hmm. But I always had a hard time like owning a blue bike. Yeah. You know?
I love blues too. I mean, but I love orange. I had to do orange. The bike was orange when I bought it. Yeah. First off, and then I kind of wanted to stick with the orange theme, and then I was like, I want to do chrome, but you know, I like black. I like chrome. I was like, but I want to do something different. So I just started going through colors, and then I put the gray next to that orange, and I was like, that's it.
So doing it. Gray is technically my favorite color out of everything. And I feel like gray is like the new black. It literally goes
neutral
next
too.
Everything. Yeah. I haven't used yellow in my palette of colors much, you know, but I feel like you can even do yellow and fucking, you know, gray and it'll fucking work somehow, you know.
Yeah, it's like black. It'll go a lot with, you know, a lot of colors too.
Yeah. So what about your FXR? I can't remember how you painted that thing.
Just it looks almost like a stock paint job, but it's got fairings black with the white pods, and then I did the gold Murano.
That's right. Yeah. You did the police look on that thing.
I did the police look. Did everything else black because that was easy. Mm-hmm. I didn't feel like doing anything else. And then the tanks, white to match the pods, and then I did a gold leaf star that kind of looks like a CHP star. Yeah. But in gold leaf, and it's brushed a certain way so it looks 3D with my logo in the center. and then it's got gold Murano over the white. It's pretty simple. I mean, nothing much to it. I couldn't figure out anything else. I have a tank that's 90% painted. It's at his shop, and I was like, I'm gonna do it like this. I had my frame powder coated copper, and and I was like, oh man, I'm not gonna finish this whole bike. Like, I'm looking at the fairing, the big fairing. Like, I already have probably $200 in white gold leaf on it, just on the tank. I'm like, I'm not gonna spend any more money on leaf on the rest of it. So I just put it to the side, painted everything in black, and then I just said, I'm just gonna do like a kind of a stock theme, but with a twist on it.
It's a weird dynamic, and I think I'm coming to understand that I can, as a painter, I can do a simple paint job on a build that I do and get away with it instead of it having to be as wild as that bagger I just did or something like that. To where, because me, I tell people all the time, it's like if I didn't do this for a living, my shit would be gray.
Oh yeah.
It would be in one color, maybe something, like a nice stripe or logo here, done. But as a painter, I'm like, fuck, I got to show these guys how to airbrush. I got to show them how to do pinstriping.
It's kind of your business card at the same time.
Same,
That's why it was cool having my orange bike too. It's like,
you can have both. Yeah.
But now that I sold it, I'm like thinking to myself, I got to do something else on my bike. But it's so simple. It's like I can't really add anything to, so I have to completely change it.
You know what I think the difference is that we're starting to kind of understand is that now that we have Instagram, is that anybody that sees our bike, whether it's a wild paint job or not, they can always just instantly, I did the IMS show in Dallas last weekend, and everybody's like, you have a business card? I'm like, no, I got Instagram.
Yeah.
It's like, well, what if you need a business card? I was like, well, yes, I do agree that I need business cards, but you know what I get with business cards? Hey man, I got your card at the show. I was just trying to see what you charge to do this. And when I get people on my Instagram, they see our work every day. Yeah. They see the kind of thing do. Yeah. And so they come at you a completely different way. Because, somebody that just grabs your card and calls you, doesn't know shit about your business, they just know you paint, they're going to be shocked when you tell them how much your shit costs.
Especially if you come up with a price when they're not even expecting it.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, I don't even know what your work looks like, so I'm just going to call someone else, this other business card I have. And then wait until they call someone, then where they're happy with, with the price they get.
Yeah, and that's, I would always try to divert them, to, hey, come by the shop. Let's sit down. Let's look.
Yeah.
You're going to see some stuff in the shop. You're going to see our operation. And then, numbers might resonate better at that point. But over the phone, no, dude, you're not going to get it. I had a dude hit me up in September, and we literally talked back and forth very sporadically all the way till December. And then in December, he finally said, I'm ready to drop it off. What are we looking at for this paint job? I said, you're probably looking at about $5,000 and up. Mm-hmm. Pause. Man, I budgeted $2,000 on this job. And I was like, dude.
In materials.
Yeah, I was like, dude, I'm not even like, sometimes depending on when that conversation comes up, I feel like I could probably be a dick. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't fucking talk to you.
But then you got a brand and a business and everything else.
So it's like, I was like, man, I'm going to be completely honest with you. I don't even know who I could refer you to other than me that would even do the work, would even paint it a solid color for that price. I mean, it's a bagger. You know what I mean? So, and we ended up coming to way closer to my price than his price. And we did the job and everything was good. But I could have easily turned that job down based on my attitude.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So I had to check myself hardcore on that one. But
you have to all the time. You gotta put everything aside when you're doing stuff like this. Sometimes you'll come in and you don't feel like painting. So I won't. Yeah. I'll just do Cerakote. I've been doing Cerakote lately. Or I'll come in and just primer or, block something or, do paperwork or order parts or whatever it is, because if you don't feel like painting, you don't paint.
Yeah, man,
you'll come up with something that
mindset's got to be there. Yeah. That's the same reason, like the customer, which I just talked about yesterday on the thing.
Here we go again.
No, I'm not even gonna go down that road. But no, he's
gonna hear this podcast.
Yeah, he probably is.
Yeah, he probably will.
I'm taking my bike out of your shop.
No, it'll be out of there.
Done.
It'll probably be out of there before he hears any of this.
No, but it's like, as a painter, especially when you're doing the artwork part of it, sometimes you can walk into the shop and just be like, my chick is blowing me up, my fucking baby's mom is blowing me up. My fucking
Yeah, like,
all the other aspects of the light of world. You know, paint store needs fucking a payment. You know, this guy is supposed to drop out. You know, there's so much going on that you're like,
Fire marshal comes in, ruins your day.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna give this paint job justice by working on it today.
Yeah.
And then I like it best when you have customers that just trust you. Like, hey man, you know, I just say, hey dude, I was trying to get on your bike today. It ain't happening. You know, there's too much shit going on.
I try to keep it up, you know, my customers up to date. Like,
Yeah.
if I know it's not going to be done or something's behind, I'll just call them and, you know, be like, hey, I'm sorry, man. I know I said it's going to be done next week or tomorrow, whatever it was, and I need another day or a week. And normally they're cool about it.
Yeah.
But if you don't call them, you don't have that rapport.
Yeah.
That's
Sometimes, you know, it's a good point you made. It's about just being, you know, informative to your customers instead of keeping them in the dark and then wondering why they're pissed off at you because they showed up with the trailer to pick up a bike and you're like, well.
Especially if they haven't heard from you and they come to your shop and it's
Yeah.
just in primer. They're like, I haven't heard from you in 2 weeks and it's still in primer. Like,
yeah.
And then maybe that was that week that you're, you know, having problems or you come in, you're just overwhelmed or you get sick or whatever it is.
You got to be ready for that awkward conversation. You got to be ready for.
I had to work on that.
Yeah. I mean, I think I've gotten better and, you know, like you said, that as painters, you know, as builders and everything, you get into this industry because you're good at this thing right here, but over time you have to learn how to be good at this fucking massive amount of other full position jobs. Like you go to any of these buildings in downtown LA and there's someone in every position.
Suit and tie, ready to talk to you.
You talk to the receptionist. She's happy.
That's her job.
That's all she's got to do. And it goes up the ladder and, you know, when you're here you have to wear all these different hats, man, and
it's hard sometimes.
You're not always going to be on the, you know, you can't be perfect, man.
Yeah. I had to get used to that. I mean, like I said, like getting back into the paint scene and doing these bikes and then especially doing shows, like I'm not, you know, that talkative. Like I'm not always one to, you know, say something first or go up to a person. Like I'm pretty quiet. I mean, my nickname's Silent G, so I mean that explains it right there. So I mean, I just do what I do, and then I'd go to a show and I'd be sitting at the booth, you know, behind the table, and a customer would come up and, you know, looking at my stuff or asking me questions, and I wouldn't even get up.
Yeah.
And my lady would be like, you know, like hit me, like you get up and talk to him, like you know, shake his hand, look him in the eye, or you know, whatever it is. I'm like, why? Like he come to me for paint. I don't need to like sell it to him. Yeah. But then I'm like, but I'm a brand. I'm a businessman. I own a shop. It's not like I'm just a painter at a place where I could. Cause that's what I was used to. I was behind the scenes.
The guy in the back, just, you know,
I'm just working away, spraying. The guy up front talks to him, deals with it. The money, I get paid, and then I come in, clock in, and I leave. It's not like that here. Like you said, you got to wear 8 different hats or however many different hats you have at your place. But I mean, she helped me out on that a lot for sure.
Yeah, it's a tough business, man, and it's not even just painters. It's, you know, bike shops, people that sell parts. You know, a lot of these companies are trying to get into the, you know, tap into the culture and stuff like that. It's a lot of different shit, man, and you know it's so easy to get taken the wrong way. You know what I mean? Like, I had to stop drinking a lot. You know, like, because to me, we're working 3 months straight for this show. So that show is fucking my day off. Yeah. You know, so I'm there. There's a 12-pack. There's a cooler. I'm getting fucked up, and then, you know, I'm a man of many opinions and stuff like that. So basically, you know,
they start coming out.
Like, you know, it's like, man, fuck the system, man. You know, blah blah blah. You just get into this long thing that customers really don't need to be hearing from me. Yeah. You know, so I had to check.
I'm paying you to do your job, and I don't need to hear your bullshit.
I mean, some people.
really put that in perspective, though. A friend of ours, Carlos, said, whenever I know Jace is drinking, I stay up all night to see the shit he starts talking about on Facebook. Because it's that bad.
I screenshot it because you're going to delete it.
He said, you're going to wake up the next day, you're going to fucking delete that shit. So I screenshot it. Yeah.
It's, you know, because, man, I've been in this industry for a long time, man. You know, and I've seen it change a few times from this type of bike to that. I've seen big name people come and go. I've seen, you know, scenes have like a coolness to it, a style of like realness to it, and I've seen it get watered down to, you know, shiny pocket jeans and shit like that, you know. So I love motorcycles, like generally. So, you know, when you see something that you used to love, like imagine like you love these diners, you love this culture. Now, fast forward 5 years and like all the people that are known in it, that are cool in it, are the fucking dudes wearing, you know, putting them on trailers, fucking driving dualies that cost $80,000 to take them to the next spot. They don't even fucking ride these bikes.
Yeah.
You know, they got more money on fucking jeans and fucking affliction shirts.
Well, that's
you know?
the difference between us and them.
Yeah.
We love what we do. We love to ride. Like, we went out to a show in Vegas not too long ago, and I was like, I'm tired of driving. I'm tired of loading up the trailer. I want to ride.
Yeah.
I'm riding there, you know, and my chick drove the truck with all the stuff for the booth, and she's like, fuck it, I'll take one for the team, and I'll drive up all the stuff, you can ride. So I smashed up there with all my friends, and it was awesome, you know?
Yeah.
Just to be able to do that. And this year, I'm actually taking off on shows. I'm not doing any shows this year.
Yeah.
You know, I want to do Born Free, I really do, but I just couldn't get myself to do it. I want to be a spectator.
Just go.
I want to just go and have fun and ride.
I don't, man, fuck booths, man.
Yeah.
You don't get to enjoy it, you know what I mean? Like, you have to go there, like, you know.
You have to work.
Yeah, you have to work. It becomes a job. And it's like, we go to Sturgis every year, and I ride there, and we party, and we have a good time. We camp. We meet all the homies from all over the country. Sturgis is the best thing ever, by the way, if you haven't been.
Oh, yeah. We've been talking about it for a couple of years now.
You
That
know.
we got to go. And every time we talk about it, we're like, yeah, we're going next year. And then that
It's
year
a bad
comes up.
timing thing, though, man.
Yeah.
You gotta understand.
You got.
We've been talking about this. It's like March hits, then I'm going to Daytona this year for the first time. I've never been. It might be the last time. I'm not super fond of it. There's not a lot of riding out there, but I'm trying to turn this trip into something inspiring or fun. But then Daytona and then Texas, we got to, Giddy Up is like a Born Free kind of. Then we got a little FXR show. Then we got Rock Rally, which is in Austin. And then after that, we have Born Free. And then we have Sturgis. And then we got Hot Bike Tour. And then we got, you know what I mean? It's like a slew of shows where almost for 1 week a month, the entire year, you're off work, you know? And I feel like being at those events is better than just not. You know what I mean? Like, I don't. When you're
At least show up.
Yeah, just show
Whether
up.
you're working or
and
riding
talk.
or spectating or, people seeing you there. That makes a big difference. Even when you have a booth, that's, you're like, oh, he's back here. He must be doing good, or, let me see what he's got going on or whatever. That helps out a lot.
I feel like the booth is going to be beneficial if you're selling a lot of merch.
Yeah,
you know
merch,
what I mean?
or if you're doing pinstriping and there, someone brings you a helmet or whatever
Yeah.
it is. It's hard to sell jobs. I'll get calls months later, hey, I saw you Born Free or Lost Highway or whatever show it was, and I'm interested of maybe getting something done. It's never like
I always say it's
the
like
week after.
It's
hey.
it's like a garden. You know what I mean? Like every year when you go to an event, you're planting a bunch of seeds in this garden, and you never know when
Working with other
something's
companies,
gonna pop up. Like I will, you'll go to a show and be like, oh man, I talked to a lot of people, man. Something's gonna happen from this.
Oh, good. You're
2 years
nothing.
later,
Yeah.
hey man, I don't know if you remember me.
Yeah. We talked.
Yeah, and then it's like, bam, shit comes through, That's what I say about, like, your shop, the rent's fucking high, all the stuff, but, when you put enough out there, like, you plant enough of those seeds, they start coming through, man, just like, it works weird that way.
Sometimes you think it's working against you, and you're like, man, phone's not ringing, they're not coming in, they're just asking how much, and then you start stressing out, and the next thing you know, it's like, this job comes in, that job comes in, this company,
It's feast or
calls
famine.
you, and then you're like,
You know what's
fuck,
even
now I'm
hard?
getting behind.
So that exact thing happens, right? You're kind of worried. You're fuck, man. Like I got, you got work
Constantly.
but most of us are thinking like I need 2 months of work, and you can take these jobs now. You got them, and then you get more phone calls. You're like, fuck, I don't want to let this go.
Especially you start seeing stuff around, then you're like, what do I work on?
Yeah,
And then you gotta start organizing it, start planning stuff, and then you're afraid. You're like, oh, can you come in a couple months? Or like, no,
yeah, they're not gonna come in. They
I'm gonna
want
go
it
somewhere
now.
else, yeah. So
And
then
it's a weird. There's no right or wrong way to deal with it. It's almost like you just got to look at the job and be like,
no
could I
one-
fit it in between
yeah.
something, knock it out quick, give this customer what he wants, but it,
and
sometimes-
keeping your sanity. I'm
Yeah.
gonna say that over and over again, because you could lose yourself in it, because you could be working thinking it's 2 hours, and the next thing you know, it's like I'll be doing something, masking something, painting, doing this, doing that, Cerakoting, taking it out of the oven, cooling it, primering it, sanding something, buffing something. Customer comes in, talking to him. Another customer comes in, or you get a phone call, or you got to order a part. Like, you know, Tom's calling me, hey, you order that part? I'm like, oh, I got to get on it. Next thing you know, it's 4:00. You haven't ate. You haven't talked to anybody.
Yeah.
You know, you're shaking. You're like, oh, I got to get something to eat. Then you're like, I got to get this done. He's coming now. I don't have time to eat.
Yeah.
So it's rough sometimes, but I mean, when you love what you do, you
Yeah,
just do it.
It's that or fucking, you know, go try to sell me some insurance.
Yeah, it ain't gonna happen.
You know?
I'm not a suit and tie guy, as
Yeah.
you can tell. Like, I made my mind up a long time ago that I'm not
Yeah.
gonna be a corporate guy or
I think
sitting
that
at a desk.
I think that, you know, we as in this world is going to be fine because there's like so much great things that's happening. You said it best a while ago, when these young guys started getting on these diners, you know, they brought a lot of fire into the thing.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you see like, you know, they've taken something that's been here forever and they turn it into a fucking industry.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that this lighting a fire under all of us to where we're all reevaluating what it is to be a paint shop or a bike shop or a brand. You know, like, you know, my dad's body shop growing up wasn't a fucking brand. He didn't sell T-shirts.
Yeah.
He
He just
sponsored the
fixed shit.
softball team in the
Yeah.
80s. You know what I mean? That was
They
it.
just fix cars. I mean,
You know,
it's not,
it's like they clocked out and they went home, and then they wanted to build a car because they loved cars. You know what I mean? But it wasn't fucking life. You know?
there also wasn't a network or social media. I mean, you're only as good as what you have around you or where you surround
Yeah.
yourself.
So
You could have a great network, great powder coater, great whoever it is around you, mechanic or whoever it is, and it'll make a world of difference in your product, your end product.
what I hope to see for painters is I hope to see, you know, you could probably definitely agree, the people in our industry that makes the most money just in paint are the people that sell the paint and the people that make the paint.
Mm-hmm.
The people that
Oh, yeah.
sell the paint in general
Yeah.
don't, you know,
They don't paint either.
you know, we don't make shit. You know, they didn't spend 10 years honing their skills. They didn't, you know, half the people that work at you know, paint companies, you know, it was, I was going to work here at Chrysler, you know, fucking Chrysler offered me 100,000 less,
Yeah.
you know, and now that I'm here, what am I selling? You know what I mean? So, you know,
And there's no passion.
There's no
Just they're
passion,
doing it
and-
because they have to do it.
and when there's no passion, when you have those kind of people, which I mean, there's got to be a little bit of someone that cares for the movement or the
Oh, yeah, of course.
the stuff in all in all the brands, but for the most part, you know, whatever so and so makes a living, you know, you got these shareholders that are like wanting, you know, profits every year because, you know, I know you get the fucking price increase every year from
Oh, yeah.
PPG.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
Everything's Cerakote,
everything goes up
PPG,
every
everything.
year.
Yeah.
So they're constantly meeting the demands of these shareholders, and there's like all these badass painters out there, and then, you know, fucking Iwata doesn't pay none of their guys. House of Colors doesn't pay nobody to
Those give
fucking
them
do.
some free shit.
Yeah,
There you go.
and not even that. Like a lot of them, they, you know,
Or a deal, you know, on a $800 spray gun.
Not
I'll give
even.
it to you for $600. Like,
you know, I tell people all the time, you know, I was like, you know what, if any of these companies would just sell me the paint at cost,
Yeah.
I would be happy.
Oh, yeah.
I wouldn't bitch.
I mean, I've been pretty fortunate to work with PPG, and they've helped me out a lot, actually. And, you know, Steve Leaner or PPG, he's helped me out tremendously, but it's still, you know, it still costs a lot of money. I mean, I
Yeah.
still bought every gun, even though all the people I know and the people I've met and talked with, and they might be sponsored by Iwata, and I'm like, hey, hook me up on a gun. And they're like, all right, I'll see what I can do. So I'm like, oh, I'm just going to, you know, I need it, so I'm going to pay for it. I paid for all my guns, and,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, it's a small price to pay, especially
Yeah.
if
There-
it lays it out the way you want it to.
There are definitely people that House of Color goes above and beyond for, and Iwata goes above, and Seda, and all these. But, you know, when you think of the thing is now, unfortunately, I mean, I hate to say this, but, you know, like now, there are a lot of badass painters out there that just have dropped the ball in the social media game.
Yeah.
You know, so in general, like someone like you or I or Schultz can easily
Hot
sell
dog
a
anybody,
product
yeah.
for anybody. Yeah, hot dog.
Yeah.
You know, somebody gives us a
He'll
fucking
kill it. He kills it with PPG, and still you don't hear much.
Yeah, and it's like I do know PPG does a lot of work. 'Cause one of my good friends is Jeremy from Lucky Strike, and
Yeah.
he
Oh,
works
yeah.
for PPG.
Yeah.
I think, you know,
He
and
does bitching work.
But it's one of those deals that there's got to be a way for people of Jeremy's stature, yours and
To
Schultz,
help everyone out.
to where they can get more residual from what they promote for these companies.
Yeah.
Like it's a weird. I don't have the plan. I don't have it understood, but there's got to be a way for, like, if you just somehow or another sold. I know people hit you up when you paint a bike. Hey man, what clear did you use?
All the time.
All the time.
Yeah.
So if that answering that question, which was derivative by the fact that you painted that product
and they're going to pay full price for it.
They're going to pay full price for this product because they want to achieve what you just did.
Yeah.
You should be able to get a piece of that.
Oh yeah, but it doesn't work that way.
Yeah, that's what we got to change, man. It has to get to a point
But
where
I think that we all got to get together. I mean, even like the Danny D thing with the skateboard thing. I mean, there's 80+ painters there that showed up, and we all do what we love. We get together, but nothing was ever set like, we got to do this or we should try to do that. It's just we got together and did a rad thing, but it wasn't like we moved the movement forward. With the other companies. I mean, some companies got on board. Paint Huffer's been rad. They've helped me out a lot.
Yeah, Paint Huffer's the shit.
Yeah.
They're probably one of the only companies that I feel like really does us justice between how much he shares our work. I mean, his brand is our work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which, House of Color. Did I fucking airbrush for House of Color this year at SEMA? They haven't never shared one picture I've ever done on my social media.
Yeah, Paint Huffer rad. I mean, I talk to him all the time, and he's always like, "Oh, you need anything, man? Is there anything I can get you? I'm gonna be out your way. I'd like to, meet up." Or do whatever I want to, whatever it is. He's always helpful. Or even if I was to call him up, like, hey, I need to get this. Can you get it to me? And the next day it'll be here. And it'll help me out a lot. I mean, whether if I have to pay for it or not, just getting it to me.
Yeah, and you know what? You're more receptive to even if you have to pay for it.
Oh yeah.
I'd rather support him because he supports me.
I'd rather support him than a bigger company that's not even gonna see it.
Yeah, I mean, my connection to Matrix, because that's what we use mainly, is only because the guy that sells me the Matrix, he helps me out. He's a good friend of mine. That's the only reason I shoot it. I mean, it's quality shit.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, if it wasn't for him, I'd switch to PPG or switch to another company that was helping us out more. And that's the ground level. That's the jobber that I'm connected with, not Matrix.
Yeah.
I mean, Matrix, their Instagram page is full of fucking drag cars.
Yeah.
It's doing dick for the fucking industry.
I was talking to PBG at SEMA, and they're like, custom paint is like 2% of our business.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but
so
why did
like
they have
that
it?
big?
Okay, so why? And this is the rebuttal.
Did you see SEMA, their booth?
Yeah.
That's all.
So
custom.
why the hell why wasn't there any nice blends out here?
I didn't see any glass there or powder coat. I just saw a bunch of custom painted cars.
Yeah.
Hot Dog did that one that was in the booth, and it was killer.
Outrageous. And then Jeremy had that fucking soft toe he painted, and Jeremy also had a badass truck he painted on the other side of the thing.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's the thing. I mean, but the only thing that's fucked up is that you go to Matrix booth and they had a bunch of solid color cars. You know what I mean? They really do good, but same thing with House of Color.
Mm-hmm.
House of Color had all that custom shit in there, and they got all these guys doing demos and stuff. So, no matter what, 2% or not, we sell all the products.
Yeah. They're just basing it, I think, on as far as the 2% in the paint. Like, they'll sell, like you said, $50,000 a month to this body shop that's doing a ton of work.
Yeah.
And then we're buying that in a year.
Yeah, but it's also realistically, how can they honestly find out realistically if it is 2%? Like, I know it's 2% just because we don't spend that much money. But it ain't like when you order a gallon of fucking 2021 that you're saying custom paint for this product.
Yeah.
So people there could possibly be more people buying that product because they don't really have a strictly only custom line. Yeah. I mean, if they're only going on their Vibrance collection that's in the deal, then maybe. But I know tons of body shops that use that shit.
Work.
Yeah,
for sure.
But it's kind of, technically House of Color's complete line and profit sales and margin every year should be custom because since, they don't fucking make Chevy white.
Yeah.
Know.
Can I get the House of Color code 50?
Yeah.
Right.
So there's got to be a system, man, and not to knock anybody in the industry. There's some great guys. Ron Flino's a great guy. You know,
Every
there's
time I
great
see him,
stuff
he's
out there.
cool.
Yeah, there's great guys out there, and I'm not trying to discredit anybody. I'm just saying, I said this before. I don't even know if I said it on this. When I first got into this stuff, dude, I used to get the Airbrush Action magazines, and there'd be guys in there that I saw that were just like, had videos, demos for the last 15 years, right? And I finally meet him, and I'm like, dude, like, I'm starstruck, like, badass. And we get to talk, and we get closer, and he's like, yeah, man, you know, I had to find another place to work. The body shop I was renting space from, you know, they fucking kicked me out, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, how the fuck aren't you, like own a fucking house and, like, just killing it, you know?
You're not going to get rich off it.
Yeah, I mean, you know, and some of us could easily say, like, you know, it's not what it's about, which technically it's not. But at the same time, it's like when, you know, I want to buy a house one day. I want to, you know, I want to get a new truck.
Yeah. Even when I was talking to Ron at the Dandy D thing, I'm like, hey, what's up, man? Hook me up with, you know, what's going on? He's like, talk to me in 40 years. Or, you know, this is how long I've been doing it. So, I mean, it makes sense. I mean, I'm not trying to, you know, like, discredit him, but yeah, I haven't been doing it that long. He's been doing way longer. People like that's up on the scale, they've been doing it. They've been putting time and hours and years.
You know, the only thing that's different between the 40 years that he put in and the 5 years that maybe I have, or 15 or 10 or whatever we've done, is that he could have been painting for 40 years out of a garage that nobody fucking knew about on the other side of the country. And now, you know, we're painting bikes and we're getting likes in fucking Sweden and Afghanistan and fucking everywhere. So unfortunately, those old mentality ways are not going to work anymore. Like, we should be able to get something out of our following on social media. If a motherfucker can start a YouTube channel and get paid advertising from Schick or Bic or fucking Suave, or I'm just taking the toiletries right now, but you know,
Suave.
why the fuck can't House of Color throw a little something for fucking Valley Customs Instagram to throw a little plug here and there?
Yeah.
Why can't somebody do something like that? And that's what I'm talking about, is that instead of like us being the ones dealing with the fire marshal and doing all this shit that, you know, the paint company probably doesn't have to deal with, you know, or Dave Monning doesn't have to deal with it down at his shit. He's fucking flying airplanes and shit, and you know, all of us are like trying to scrape up the money to go down there to pick up a new fucking pinstripe brush. You know what I mean? It's gotta be a way to where we as all painters and stuff can start really getting the real monetized recognition that we should get for all the things that we sell and provide and promote for all these companies.
Not only that, the hours we put in. I mean, if you add up the hours and you say, okay, like most people, they know what they get an hour, $20 an hour at their job. Well, if I add up my hours and how much I got paid, subtract everything else, I don't even make minimum wage sometimes, or less. Sometimes I break even.
Yeah, not even, dude. Yeah. 100%.
So I just put 20 hours in that week, or 40 hours, or however many hours, and I'm not even just saying like in total, just on that job.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like, that's, you know, for the love of it, I guess.
Yeah, I mean,
that's the only thing I'd say.
Definitely love it. I mean,
it's hard to just
like check this out.
When you think about it, it gets to you, but then when you're doing it, it's like you're in your own world.
It's kind of like this. It's like, that's all I'm really good at. You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck am I gonna go get a job at? You know, I don't know what I mean. I think that maybe in 5 years I'll probably be good enough to go work in a marketing firm in some form or fashion. I mean, like I said, since we're wearing all these hats now,
business. I mean,
eventually we get good at other things, and I think that also stems off into other areas to where it's like, I really like the rush I got off of dialing this business in and selling all these parts. Like, I think I'd rather do that now instead of feeling stressed out by doing this paint job.
Oh yeah.
But you know, like SEMA, for instance, like when I was there, and I hadn't been to SEMA in a while, so when I was there, I was just watching. I was watching all these, you know, amazing painters. Everybody was there, you know, and I was watching them like airbrushing here, and they once their hours up, they pack up the shit, they run to the other side of SEMA and go airbrush here.
Yeah.
And I'd walk over there, and,
like right now,
and I'd check them out, and then I'd talk to them. I was like, what's that company doing for you? Oh man, they're just letting me airbrush here. I'm like, so they spent $30,000 to set up a booth here, and
you ain't gonna get nothing.
You're not getting shit, and you're making his booth.
Yeah, you're selling their product because they see you using it.
So they justify to spend $30,000 on a booth space but
That goes to corporate too.
but you on your Instagram, after you've been using their products all year, that you probably bought, and you know that you sold those products a lot more than they might have gotten at SEMA. Every day. If you got 20,000 followers on your Instagram, or you're lucky as like some of the Counts Custom guys, which they probably get paid. Some of these guys that got stupid followings, and they put these products on, and then all of a sudden, like, they're selling more than they can advertise and they can buy from any of these places.
And just because they're on TV or they do this doesn't mean they do great work.
No,
I mean, I'm sure
not at all.
I'm sure they do now. I mean, they got on TV. I mean, most of the time they get on TV, they get paid so they can hire these people that actually know what they're doing. But maybe when they started, they didn't. I know for a fact because I did, stuff. I've redone stuff in the past that were done on shows, and I'm like, okay, this is what they're doing. This is the product they're putting out. And it wasn't one of those rush jobs like overhauling or any job like that. It was like a job done for like someone, like a player or something that was supposed to be done right. And it's like, what
I used to hear horror stories from West Coast and stuff like that. So
I've done a few from there.
Yeah. But no, I mean, that's, and man, if some dude's on TV getting paid to fucking do what we do, fucking
more power to you.
Yeah, rock on. You know what I mean?
Someone came to me with a TV show and was like, I'm going to pay you $100,000 an episode and do this and do that. And cool. Sign deal. I'm going to sell out.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Because I want to get paid.
Yeah.
But then who knows how it goes after that,
Yeah.
Might not like it as much.
Cool. Well, we've been rambling. So, man, plug the shop, man. Tell everybody, man, you got everything here now, right? One-stop shop.
Yeah. I mean, we're going to do Cerakote, powder coat, paint. We're going to have a dyno here. Tom's going to have the dyno. We have mechanic work. Pretty much anything you do to a bike or think of, we can handle for the most part.
I mean, you're here in Chatsworth, right? Yeah. So that's what this town is?
Yeah, I'm on Canoga. 10050 Canoga.
There you go. So, I mean, fuck, you guys can stop in on your way to,
I'd say the Cat, but it's closed now, so there's no more.
Yeah, and then on Instagram, they can follow you at, what's the...
Valley Customs.
Just Valley Customs?
Just Valley Customs.
No tricks?
No underscores, just all together.
Well, do you have a deal? Or?
Mine is 101 Speedco.
Speedco, there we go. Cool, so, fuck yeah, man.
Thanks for talking, guys.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you guys, man.
Much appreciated.
Yeah. Cool.
Awesome. Hi. What's up? We're back to talk more.
Dun dun dun.
Hope you liked that. I hope I didn't. I'm pretty sure I did. But anyway, hope you liked it. Hope you like Silent G. Man, his work is phenomenal. His craft. I mean, he's just doing it. He's doing big things over there. I love how humble he is, which I think we all try to be. With progression of our work and skill, it's like we're never done. We're never done learning, getting better, all that stuff. And I think it's great how all that shit fucking flows so well. Don't forget to check him out, valleycustoms.com, Valley Customs on Instagram. Like I said, they got big things going on over there at the new shop. Check it all out. Also check out our sponsors, Manic_crew on Instagram. Check him out. Tag him, as I said before. Go to the website, get some hoodies, get some products, get some stickers. Put that offer code in at the end, which is FastLife10. Get 10% off. You're not going to go wrong there. Throw it on. Hashtag them on Insta. Watch it repost. Send it,
with
bruh.
a hoodie on. Keep your skin safe.
Yeah.
I can keep going.
Yeah, you can keep going. Also, check out our boy Mark, Texas Performance. Can't go wrong there. If you need something done, you need a question, you need to order something, you need to get something done, dialed, fucking everything. Just Mark is the man. Talk to him.
He's really good with deadlines too. He
He
hasn't like given us any issues about that.
What?
Deadlines. Like when you don't know what a deadline is? Come on, dude.
Oh, whatever.
When we're like rushing and we need some shit like now.
Oh yeah, he makes it
He
happen.
always makes it
Yeah,
happen.
that's for sure. I was kind of lost.
Yeah. Fucking retard.
Check him out, Texas Performance MC. Check him out online, texasperformance.com. If you're in Austin, Texas, check him out. Northwest area, Cedar Park, Texas, right on the fucking lip of some good ass riding. You can't go wrong with him. Also, check out our new sponsor, PaintHufferMetalFlake.com if you're online. No, wait, no. PaintHuffer.com if you're online, and PaintHuffer Metal Flake if you're on Instagram. Like I said, we use them on a weekly basis up in this shop. They've got pearls and flakes and hoodies, so you can let everybody know you're in the cool kids group with us and everybody else.
Wow.
If you're looking for inspiration, they repost, the tons and tons of Team Paint Huffer Metal Flake paint jobs that are out there, plus a lot of people that are just, customers of them and stuff like that. So you can definitely get a lot of great inspiration and see a lot of their flake firsthand on their Instagram page. So check them out. Also, great thing, if you want to order some flake from them, put in the offer code on their website, Fast Life, to get 20% off at checkout on your order.
Yeah, that works more than with just flake. That's for anything on their website.
Yeah, so I mean, if you order probably a shirt, I think I'm not. He didn't confirm that, but I'm just gonna assume.
Assumptions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Check him out, man. He's a good dude. We're actually gonna probably have him on the podcast within the next 2 months, and he's gonna bring a lot of insight that I think a lot of people are gonna really enjoy, especially the painter people out there. So stay tuned for that, but also keep checking him out and keep supporting him because he supports not just us, but all of us as painters. Check that shit out.
Mm-hmm.
Also, check us out. The Fast Life Garage, Fast Life Jace, Fast Life Jesse, which with all his underscores and stuff. And
you already know the deal.
Yeah. We're working on the website. We're trying to bring more content, trying to get the store up, trying to get some shit for you guys to buy or just
browse.
Yeah. We're trying. We're busy. It's kicking off bike season across country, so we're getting a little busier at the shop, and we're trying to make shit happen. So
thank God.
Be patient with us, just like this podcast. Be patient with us because I think over time that we're gonna really be better.
Well, I mean, I would hope so.
Yeah.
If we didn't get any better, we should just fucking quit now.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, we appreciate you guys listening. We're super thankful. If you're listening to this part of it, then thank you again.
Yeah.
Next week we got Dixon Flannel, which was a fucking blast.
Fucking awesome.
Yeah,
I had
not gonna want to miss
good-ass
that.
fucking time on that. Whew.
Yeah, we laughed a lot. We drank a lot.
I
we
busted
learned
my
a lot.
knee on the skate ramp.
Yeah, Jesse fell
You saw that
on the ramp.
Instagram.
So yeah, don't miss out on that. Next Tuesday we'll be releasing Dixon Flannel. Peace out.
Mm-hmm.
Holler at your boy.
Yeah. Okay, bye.